walk with the legs underneath the head, and the whole thing flying out of the tent trailer to the ground. Oh no. Not like that. Rolling out. And of course, I used it, so I hardly ever answered the phone while it was ringing. Yeah, and vacuuming and shampooing it, and then I look over and it's blue because I missed the call. I hardly ever answered it.
You guys, your phone was not ringing? You guys, your phone was not ringing?
You know me.
Hello?
Nobody there.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. You serious?
Serious? I'll turn them off. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. Having a good Thursday?
So
I'm like this close in trouble.
no, you're fine.
Well, I don't know what to do.
No, it's okay. I'm so sorry. I thought you had access to the materials, so we're getting that done for you today. It'll be in a little drop box. You want to do it at your.
I'm
At
still
your
living late.
you have to be late. You can do it. Yeah.
No, I mean, to join.
No, you can have time. When were you supposed to have it done? You've got days. Don't you have days?
I do.
Yeah, you're going. You're gone past the day.
This is what the letter said. Remember you were like, no, it can't be. And I went back and looked at it and it said, they must all be done by April 10th, even though my actual year end is May 10th.
You're fine. You're fine. Just get it done.
Okay.
We're, you know, state glass is a little bit nicer than you think. It's not as neat as we think. A little bit nicer. Okay. So.
Oh, not a lot. What do you mean no origination
Thank
fee?
you.
So he just doesn't have it
At all.
at all.
Well, how does he get
How does
paid?
she get commission?
I don't
Oh,
know.
interesting.
I don't know.
They pay him a salary.
I don't know that question, but yeah, he's amazing. He's had say 3 of my deals that almost fell through. Yeah, that's why he's my number 1. So
No origination fee.
No.
They're paying it somewhere.
they're paying. I don't know.
They're paying it, they're in the back end.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But VA doesn't.
They might be paying it on the higher interest rate, you guys.
VA.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's the seller.
See, he used the back of the car too, very good.
Yeah, and he actually he has an online application that's on there, so you can send your buyers straight to there.
I have one that is
Okay. So what have you done in real estate since I've seen you last?
I'll go. No. Okay, so my Dillingham property, we signed a petition, we had him sign that, he was open to doing a neutral licensing thing when we hooked up because of Dillingham. There was a realtor there and he has a super bad reputation and people don't even like to do them. And so we assumed we could easily get one coming to us by themselves, which every single one has been that. Not one has come with that realtor. Anyway, so here we have a VA buyer who wants to make an offer. And so I sent him all the stuff, the ARAP, we talked about that. Told him that I was, I'm representing this client, however, I could work with you in this manner and we read through this and initial, if you're in agreement. Then I sent him the waiver of representation. And then put to them the things on the contract that they needed to consider.
Now, let me ask you a question. Did your seller already pre-authorize you to go into the neutral licensing?
Yes, he signed it at the beginning.
Good.
Number 1. Okay, so I'm co-listing that with Mr. Miller, and so he's kind of like off busy and just is like there to back me up. And do I need to like keep him in the flow of every single part of the transaction? Okay, I'll call him today and tell him what I'm telling you. Okay, so my question of the day is, he's waiving his VA paper, saying, no, I don't want to put a down payment. Oh, I don't know, I don't want the flat. So, I said, this is a good faith. Earnest money is good faith deposit that comes back to you into your monies at the end of the successful transaction. No, I have a VA. I don't have to do that.
No, and you can just tell them, here's what I'm gonna tell you. You do have VA, you do get 0 down. That doesn't mean you don't have closing costs.
He's expecting all these closing costs to be paid.
That's negotiable, is it not?
And VA also.
Of course.
Oh, why would I? So it's just kind of like a strongly common thing that people.
Yeah, you guys, please, yeah. Don't let a veteran tell you, thank you for your service to our country. Don't let a veteran tell you that they don't have to pay any costs. They do. It's whether or not the seller's going to be willing to pay the closing costs.
Oh my God. So when they go, you 000 down, 000 down.
Yeah, you say if you can negotiate a 000 down.
Oh, it's only if you can negotiate. That's correct.
You don't deserve one because.
Not just a pure expectation.
Yeah. Step back for a second.
Step back, slow down.
Most people just ask for it.
Yeah, most people ask for it.
It's
It is
not
common.
required though.
But see, here's the unique thing about this, y'all. So she's in Dillingham, Alaska. So you've got a lot less properties to choose from. If somebody really falls in love, I don't have to do a 000 down.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
As a seller, I can be like, yeah, no, I don't have to do that. That might be your expectation. You might want to negotiate that, but as a seller, I don't have to pay people's closing costs.
Okay, so that deposit. I think they're waving the flag.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
say it's an industry standard.
No,
It shows your
It
skin
is,
in the
yeah,
game.
wait, this seller, and by the way, if your seller says, no, I would not do a contract without earnest money.
Yeah.
And so, and I would not recommend a seller take a contract without earnest money down on it.
Right, what
Period.
if something happens?
Well, it's just period. And if he doesn't, and here's the scary thing, if he doesn't have earnest money, is he gonna have enough money for a home inspection? I know he had his dude kind of go walking through there. Is he gonna have enough money if something goes wrong? I mean, you don't wanna be in that situation,
Yeah.
guys. It's
And
not,
I can call it lender.
you can call his lender and you can talk to him, but remember, you gotta be really Wile E. Coyote how you speak to a lender, because I don't have to tell you anything.
That's right. I
Okay?
guess yes, and I think it feels like he's waving the flag.
And that's okay.
Not that he doesn't have money, but he's just like, hey, wait, triple
Sure,
down,
sure.
no down, no nothing.
No,
not gonna
no,
do
no, no, and you just have to say, stop, collaborate, and listen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an Ice Ice Baby song. They just go, stop for a second. This seller.
Turn on the
can-
song.
Yeah, yeah. No, you should have this playing in your background. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Right,
you're gonna
it should be-
listen to me.
this- As you're walking in, this should be your theme song. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Okay, we're doing real estate in Dillingham. This may or may not be negotiable. And you can just say, the seller may not pay your
It's
closing
really
costs.
just non-negotiable.
It's all negotiable.
Yeah.
And just because you're a veteran does not mean you're gonna get your closing costs paid. You can request that your closing costs get paid. I can be like super excited and happy that your closing costs get paid, but you cannot demand that your closing costs get paid.
We do know that he has, the escrow can get paid, the owner's title insurance, and
Yes.
the freight.
Correct.
And I did tell him that. Now, because of your VA loan, we know we can expect this.
Yeah,
this,
but
and this.
but beyond that, that's a request of the seller, not an expectation you should walk in with. Hello, Shoshana, we missed you yesterday.
We
That's
had such
okay.
a fun day.
We did.
Okay, good.
I know, we had the class day of fun, field trips are fun.
I have run into this several times, and I know it's because it's something I have to practice, but if I come up against a really strong alpha, older male, I just kind of go, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like certain personalities you can hang on Sunday, you're gonna just like start to weep.
I love that you noticed that. Good for
Notice
you.
it, I am 100% aware of
Yeah.
who pushes that button in me and who I start to waver on being bullied. Kind of the bully deal.
Yeah.
Like he's like, no, young, and I'm gonna get my way, like that.
Right.
Well,
Or whatever.
here's the nice, easy way to put that. Say, you know what? At the end of the day, I work for the seller, and the seller can choose to do that, and the seller can choose to not. The seller can choose to not accept your offer at all.
And you're representing both.
No, 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 no,
Well,
no, 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 no. Nope, stop right there.
It's-
You never, it is illegal, and I know, I'm not picking on you, and I don't, just so you know. Never say representing both parties.
Okay.
That is illegal.
Okay.
I can provide neutral licensees providing specific assistance
Okay.
to both parties, but it is illegal to represent two parties in the same transaction.
Oh.
And we have to be super careful with our words.
Right.
Because we're not representing, and if you say you are representing both parties in the same transaction.
You know how many times I've said that?
No, no,
Nobody's
babes.
ever
No,
said
no, babes.
anything to me.
No, no.
Yeah.
No, you are,
Words are so important.
yeah, no, and
Yes.
you will be held to those words, so that's why
Yes.
I'm glad you said
Thank
that. I would never embarrass you for love nor money,
No,
but
thank you.
just so you know, I can only provide specific assistance to both parties. That's what the ARAC says, guys. I can assist you, okay?
And that's what I verbally went over with the form in front of them, the department, and here we are. I'm representing the seller, and as you can see, those are the duties owed to you as providing specific assistance, right? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to have you do this sign in. I'm going to give you, oh, yeah. I got. Yep, I got these. So tell me, what was your experience of those who went, and like one who didn't? What was your experience of yesterday? Diane, what was your experience?
Oh, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Super fun.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was a-
super fun, yeah.
It was a good learning experience.
Yes, it
I had a
was.
lot of different things to address.
Yeah.
I learned more from that than just doing a CMA.
Right, me too. Right, isn't that, and that's kind of why CMAs, you guys, it's so important when you're doing a CMA that you're doing it on a legit property. Does that make sense? So that you know, it doesn't come alive until you have to. In my worldview, It's been my experience that stuff does not come alive until you're really legitimately dealing with the actual home that you gotta put a CMA together on, and you have to look at the different things. So what'd you guys notice? And I'm gonna be okay if anybody needs to tell me some stuff. What'd you notice, guys?
Okay, sorry. Pay attention.
Okay, so what did you notice? So what, is this a listing you want to take?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, how come?
Wow. Well, it's a great house.
Location.
Location. You can probably get a lot of leads from that.
There you
house.
go. Okay, that is what I need you to understand is some listings are going to be lead generators.
The
Okay,
high one. That
good
was
ones.
such a learning note for me, man.
What's that?
So you know, when my one client was, I felt like she wanted to go a little on the high side, and I kind of like clenched up a little bit inside, but then the 180-degree flip in my thinking that day, which was, wow, even the high ones, or what you think is high, which is relative, right, can still bring in so many leads.
Sure.
So in a way, if it sits on the market for a little while,
That could be to your
you have
benefit.
opportunity.
There you go. See, that's what I want you to what I really want you guys to start to understand is listings are lead generators. Listings are lead generators. And some listings are better lead generators than others. I totally got that. Some listings are better. Hello, Abraham.
Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Coffee's over there. He's like, dang it. It's
I
not
know,
the
donut. Okay, so some listings are better lead generators than others. Some listings I'm super excited about getting, and I'm like just listening to the seller talk, and I'm like blah 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 blah. I cannot wait to get my sign in the front yard. I cannot wait for this because what might I expect off of that?
Calls.
Okay, calls. So maybe I have another idea for you. Maybe I need to be picking certain houses and marketing directly to certain neighborhoods, certain streets.
To get certain buyers.
To get certain listings so that you can get certain buyers. Is that mind blowing? Okay, so I used to know that there were certain condominium complexes that people wanted to be in because they would ask me about it, and we would do letter campaigns to those neighborhoods. And you would typically, if you do a marketing campaign to certain things, you sometimes get some leads off of that, right? So, I mean, occasionally you do a couple CMAs, which what does that do? That sharpens your saw. You'd be able to meet some buyers and sellers. I mean, it was great. So you can pick neighborhoods and you can pick streets and you can pick areas, and you want to really start. Once you get this, that some listings are just nothing but lead generators, you really start honing in on generating leads. Okay.
And you're describing farming there for a minute, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's you got it in one. That is absolutely what that is all about. Okay, so I'm going after some properties. And sometimes I'm going after properties before people know that they want to sell. So why is May such a great time to go after or farm or do lead gen in neighborhoods? Okay, how many people do you think are waiting for their kids to be out of school so that they can sell their house? There are so many people right now that are thinking about listing their house. And they haven't reached out and contacted anybody.
Just like thinking.
Yeah, just like me going, I was legit getting my house ready to sell. Legit, that's what I was doing. Now I'm thinking I'm gonna stay. Okay?
I think we can find you a more appropriate place to something.
Nice, maybe. Yeah, you guys find, the person who finds me the right condo just might have my listing. I'm just telling you that right
I
now.
might just have you. Might just have they want you.
Hey. Okay, so again, when you look at the tax records are one thing. And then typically, let me help you out here too. Has anybody ever done a map quest or a map search?
Long time ago.
Okay, so you can do map searches, and map searches, you can see what I want street views. How about That's all I do. I'm not doing anything exciting. Street view.
I was told you could do this in MLS somehow. I haven't learned how to do that.
I have not heard, I haven't seen how you could do that.
Okay, maybe that's not correct.
Oh, snap. Maybe this one's. Okay, so now I want to stand in.
Since I haven't been signing off all this week, is there any chance that I could go?
I'm sorry, what?
Since I haven't been signing off the class all this week, is there any possibility that you can credit me for
I'm
that?
so glad it was me doing stuff.
No, I haven't given out any credit that you wouldn't have gotten. And you have to be licensed to have received credit.
Oh.
I have a license.
I know, and we're giving out 4 hours of credit today, so sit and chat.
Oh.
Okay.
He signed in today.
Hey, so yeah, sign in here. Okay, and then sign in for Shoshana, did you get that too?
That was from yesterday?
No, this is from today. There was no credit given yesterday, you guys, that was an event. So, okay, I want to get here. Oh, you betcha, they're coming.
And that's the same.
Hang on, which one did I, yes, ma'am, that's good. Did he? Great. So sign in for both. So this is on, okay, so here, oh, there you go. Okay. Look at this. This is called homesnap.com. And you know what did I just do? So remember I told you that my house was pink with brown trim? Mm-hmm. So if you'd have done a street view of the property, what would you have seen?
Older record, older child.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's see.
I wonder how often they update.
Yeah. What about, was it Google World?
So I can tell you literally, this says Google Street View. It does not tell me, this says 2016, but what do y'all know? Can't be 2016 because why?
Because you painted it 2 years
2 years ago. So obviously that's not correct. But this is sometimes where I start. If I'm not familiar with the area, I'll do a Google Street View of the property. The other thing I sometimes do, if it's a really nice photo, I'll drop it into my CMA. So that I don't have to go run out and take a photo. So old school way that you would do CMAs, guys, we would run out, take a photo of the exterior, then drop it into our CMAs. You can go do that, and it might have been smart for you to go do to get yourself ready for a CMA. Especially, can I make a really strong suggestion to you? If this is an area that you are not familiar with, and there's a lot of Anchorage I'm not familiar with, okay? I'm gonna be really honest with you. I've lived in the south to west side of Anchorage my entire life. I've never lived on the east side of Anchorage. I've sold a lot of properties in the east side of Anchorage, but I've never lived there. So I'm not as familiar. I'm not unfamiliar, but I'm not as familiar with neighborhoods and areas as I am on my side of town. And I went to high school, where I went to high school, where I went to college, etc. So one of the things I like to do is before going on a listing appointment, I want to go do a quick drive-by. Okay? If you're not going to do a quick drive-by, why don't you at least Google Map it and take a look at it? And you can actually, with these Google Maps, you guys, you can go up and down the street. And you can 360 around and you can look at exactly what's around, right? Because there might be some things you might want to ask about or you want to look at. Also, if you noticed, this particular driveway, this particular road that I live on, so this is interesting. So Sand Lake Elementary is on one side. If you'd have taken Caravel Drive all the way down and around, you would have hit Sportsman's Point, which is a really fancy schmancy neighborhood, older fancy schmancy neighborhood. Then you would have hit Kincaid Elementary School on the corner of Raspberry and Caravel. Okay, so there's 2 elementary schools that are both kind of nice elementary schools that are on either side of this street. Okay, so that could be a really big deal for somebody. Proximity to which school. I actually, when my youngest son was in the Japanese immersion program and he wasn't doing well in the Japanese immersion program, I pulled him out of Kincaid Elementary and he went to Kincaid Elementary for a couple of years. So, I was able to do that and he was able to walk to school or I could drop him off because it was just down the road, right? Okay. So, What are some things that are intangibles? And the other thing that's really important about doing a little bit of homework before you get there is sometimes there's some intangibles that you just don't know about. One of the biggest intangibles that I think I told you, but I don't know, how many people spend any time in Kincaid Park? Okay, Kincaid Park is like a mecca for sports enthusiasts of all kinds, right? If you like to hike, bike, if you ski, if there's people play, have events out at Kincaid Park, all that kind of stuff. It's a mecca. If you've never been out there, you need to get yourself out there. It's amazing what's there. So people want to be, there are a certain group of people, if you're a skier, a hiker, a biker, if you want access to the coastal trail, okay, that property is appealing because of its proximity. Would that make sense to everybody? If you've got your kids in junior Nordic, or something like that, that's appealing. And could you have told that? Could I have told, if you didn't know about Kincaid Park, could I have, would you have known? Is my question.
I think.
You knew because you knew where it was at. How about the proximity to the airport?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so would you have known that? What the proximity, and so one of the things I think is really important when I stand in houses, I play a little game with myself because I think it's really important. Who's going to buy this house? Who's going to buy this house? Now, I'm shocked and amazed sometimes at who actually ends up buying the house. Sometimes it's nothing that I ever thought about. But I can see somebody who works at the airport or FedEx. I could see somebody who's a sports enthusiast, or I could see somebody who wants their child in that elementary school, or who's in that elementary school and doesn't want to drive anymore. So where would be a great place for me to market that property?
Schools.
At the school. So FYI, certain properties, I'm going to market directly to the people who attend that school. I'm going to go up and maybe talk to the principal, maybe talk to that office, see if there's any way that I couldn't get that flyer circulated. Could I pay for it to be in their bulletin? See what I'm saying?
Monthly newsletter.
A lot of schools have monthly newsletter. Could I have them put something on their website? Probably not, but what could I do? I can ask, that doesn't hurt. Where would I maybe want to post that? So where's some other places I might want to post that?
Coffee shops.
Coffee shops, where else?
Grocery stores.
Grocery stores, there you go. There you go. Churches, there's churches up and down that area. Okay, maybe congregants, maybe I'm a complete lunatic. Maybe somebody wants to get closer to their church. There's a Mormon stake down off Strawberry. There's a Mormon stake off of Strawberry. There's a Catholic church, and there's probably 20 others. A Lutheran church just on Jewel Lake Road. There's probably 20 other churches. People who, I think you forgot this. People who want their kid. Who said their child went to Lumen Christi? I forgot that. Maybe somebody who wants to get close to Lumen Christi. Because there's a private school right on Jewel Lake Road. So do you see what
People tend to drive a long way to get.
Exactly. So any place somebody has to drive, maybe this might be. So do you see what the intangibles that you have to start talking about when it comes, and the ideas that it could come, because your job is a marketer of property. How many untapped marketing sources are there when you list a property? And one of the things that I get excited about is, who can I market this property to? Who might really like this? Okay, and then this particular house is kind of, I would call it a move-up house for some people. Move-up house. This is going to be the first house for some folks. This is going to be a move-up house for others. So for other folks right now who live in a condo, apartment or a condo, so this could be a first-time buyer for somebody. It's not the house that most people want to die in, right? Do you know? And I'm being honest with you about that. I see, like, if you had a young family, when they started to get older, I probably would maybe want a bigger home. Once my kids start, maybe not. I mean, but I mean, I can tell you it's lacking two things. Having teenagers living there, it's lacking two things. It's lacking like a rec room, like literally, it's lacking its own private bathroom for the kids. Please believe me, I wanted my own private bathroom for those boys. And so the rec room for them to go do something with their friends where mom didn't have to hear it. or for them to play video games where mom didn't have to hear it. It's lacking that. And it's really, really, really lacking that double car garage. For that real family who really needs that double car garage, and then once your kids start driving and blah, 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 that's a huge factor. Those would be factors that might drive you out of that house. Now, FYI, I told you the other factor that might drive you out of this house. What is it?
The very active school behind you.
Yeah, and all the people, that's a mecca of humanity 24 hours a day, right? And so while you're living there, it's joyful noise. So being a realtor, being able to walk upstairs and look out the window, and I could see my kids playing on the playground. That was joyful. As soon as they were out of elementary school, guess what I thought?
Oh my goodness.
It's bothering me.
It's a lot of noise, right? And it's constant, and it's every day, and it's bells, and it's alarms, and it's all that kind of stuff, right?
You ready to move?
Well, I spend so much time out of it,
Right.
but if you're a really active family, and that probably, I should tell you the other thing is I don't watch TV, right? You guys notice, everybody noticed that. Where's your TV? I'm like, I don't watch TV. Most people orient their entire house around a what?
TV.
A TV. So a lot of times my house is quiet where other houses are a lot louder. Like if you've got the radio playing and you're cooking something, the noise, obviously you don't hear it so much. But if you're a quiet person and you probably hear different noise a lot. So long story short, this might be a kind of a compromise, and this is a compromise house for a lot of people. Why is that?
One car garage, but didn't have that.
That it doesn't have the 2 baths and the 1 car garage. Okay. Now I always say to people, a 1 car garage is 1,000% better than nothing. Okay. But that could be a deal. And Abraham said something, and I really respected that. That's a deal breaker for me. I'm not buying this house. There are certain people that are not going to buy this house because number one, their vehicle cannot get in it. It's a small 1 car. Okay. They're just not buying it. And you're never going to tell somebody, oh yeah, there's plenty of room. You can drop ship a double car garage on here. Where? Okay, and do you see that? Like, how would you do that? What would the design of that look like? Do you see what I'm saying? So you don't tell people they can put garages on properties. Super expensive. Okay, and how are you going to do that? How would you get into the house? How would you get into the front door?
Well, there's certain properties that are adequate for you that have the room, but like on the case of your property, you just simply don't have the room.
Don't have the room. But even if they did have the room, most people don't have the money.
Yeah.
That's the real, it's smarter, and just FYI, it's smarter for somebody who has to have a double car garage to go buy that and finance that on the front end than it is to try and tell them that they can do a build or an add-on.
What about a renovation loan?
You could do a renovation loan, but I don't think your renovation loan, aren't they 25 grand? I don't think $25,000 will get you a double car garage.
True.
Okay, so yes, you could, I love that you're problem solving and you're thinking of that. I'm just not sure that I can get somebody there from here. Okay, so, all right.
People
So,
want to do a garage, do the hassle of building a garage anyways.
yep,
Because,
exactly.
I think as long as both of the mom can park in the garage, that would save it. Because, usually the husbands have trucks. We have a 3-car garage, and the trucks are outside, and my car's the only one in the garage, because they can't fit their trucks in there. So, as long as you have the one,
Well, obviously, we I didn't love that it had a 1-car garage, but I liked the house. I liked the house. I liked and believe it or not, I thought the sunken fireplace was cool when you got it. I was like, this is super cool.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm gonna mislead that too, because I will buy a house with a 1-car garage. I'm looking at a house with a 1-car garage that I really love,
Yeah.
but it's got the room
Right.
home and 2-car garage,
And you probably have the skill set to
Right.
do that.
But
That makes good sense. But your average everyday Joe and Susie buyer, they don't have the talents that a lot of people have, or the access, or let's just be real,
Yeah.
the money.
it wouldn't make sense.
Okay. All right. So where did you guys come in? What, just gut feeling? Where'd you come in on value? That's okay. I'm not voting you off the island.
I'm still at 350.
You're at 315. Okay.
mine came out at 328, 630.
Oh my gosh, 328, 633.
I had a high of 360.
Yeah,
And then the low was 311, but, you know, if you put in a new kitchen, if you fixed every single thing, you could get more.
you think
But
so?
you get back what you put in.
Yeah,
Without fixing it, I'd say close to 330. If you want to put in 20,000 to fix the kitchen and all the other stuff,
you think,
Then
you
you
think,
get
you
the
think
top
it would
price.
raise the price?
but you wouldn't, you know, what if you don't have that money?
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
So if you were gonna walk in that property today, would you, so that's a property I'd list today. I'd list it today. Really? And what would I tell you you'd wanna do? I'd want those bedrooms upstairs cleaned out, you know? Maybe steam clean carpet if you could, but I'd put that property on the market today.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and why?
At that garage.
And FYI, why would, and I want you to really get something, why would you probably kind of want to push to get that property on the market now?
Well,
Because of the timing.
Because kids are getting out of
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
right, and I maybe want to try and capture that market at that school, does that make sense? So I really want an opportunity to try and do that. And what happens if I don't capture that market? Well, not that I'm gonna miss it, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity, and if nothing else, that might be a real, if you've got a slow pokey, well, you know, I don't know, you might have, have some reasons to kind of be, you know, this is such a great, sometimes I talk to sellers about what a great time, what a great time it is to market this particular property in a particular way. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And
So like,
why I,
put some,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
put them on your train.
Yeah. Like the train's leaving the station, and there's some stuff that's going to start happening. And oh, by the way, why am I super happy to have signs on that road?
what's the cost?
Well, there's traffic through there, you guys, all the time. There's traffic. So we used to be able to, believe it or not, and you guys have not grown up in this era, we used to be able to put like not one sign in front of a house. Do you guys remember seeing signs that used to point into neighborhoods? Okay, it's a lot harder to do that, but wouldn't that be a great place to put two signs on either side of, one off of Jewel Lake Road and one off of Raspberry Road? You see what I mean? To point people in both directions, if you could get away with doing that.
And then you have to do that with
A lot of times the municipality of Anchorage has gotten really snarly about signs pointing into
Well, you
neighborhoods.
know what, I've seen agents like Aubrey.
Yes.
Little ones.
Yes.
That point.
Yes, now you're going, now
Just
you're,
an arrow.
yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
she's got it up on.
Yeah, or like some of them are really, they're like these little houses
Yes.
with little wires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are like an arrow. And
Nice.
They're all high, so you can see them.
Okay. Okay,
Those are allowable.
yep, those are allowable, yep, and if they get stolen, you just have to know that that's
Yeah.
part of your cost, okay? So long story short, you came in between, tell me again your value, and you did your CMA sight unseen.
Yep, the low was 311, the high was 360, so it recommended 328, 633.
Okay, would
But
you,
I'd say if you fixed every single thing,
Yeah.
you could get the top price. If
okay,
you didn't, then that's a good average price.
what would you list it at today?
Well, we talked about it yesterday. I think we decided 329.9.
329.9,
We thought that sounded like
Okay.
a nice number.
okay, and who was saying that?
I talked with James.
James, okay,
I think I will go up to 325 if you were to pay on phone.
you just lost my listing again, Mr.
Really?
But I am not listing, okay, so if it's official, Abraham, I'm not listing with you. Isn't that interesting? That's such a, inside I'm having such a visceral reaction too, I'm like, oh. And isn't it, it's really interesting too how how sellers are reacting. Could you tell that I wasn't down with that? Could you see it on my face? You could?
Oh, yeah.
You could see it, so could you imagine being that, can you imagine being that listing licensee sitting at your table? And you just are like, oh, shit.
Well.
What
Can I say that?
You're like,
Good enough.
I'll be leaving now, thanks for the coffee, it was really nice to meet you, and I just lost my listing. Has anybody been in that experience?
I didn't really mean that.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Can we start again? I'm sensing some hostility from you. Yes, yes, you are.
So tell me why you feel that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people sellers that do interview different agents.
Sure.
They do. 'Cause I know it's recommended.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if people.
Some people have multiple agents looking for them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Gotta be
absolutely.
careful.
And by the way, you should walk in with the assumption that you're being you are on an
Yes.
interview for a job you really want. Unless you walk in and it's a job you really don't care to take, but you are in an interview for a job you really want. So, and there are, just like with some people pay closing costs, they'll take your listing, like, okay?
I had an interesting thing happen.
Yeah,
This
yeah, yeah.
would be a fun one to share. So I sold this, my client's land,
Uh-huh.
and then she texted me one day and said, hey, we have to move in September, but we're thinking that we want to get on this spring sale. And I said, wonderful, I'd love to help you, right? And so just a little chat. And then the next day she writes me and she says, oh my gosh, I was telling my husband about it, and he already spoke to a guy that he knew in Anchorage, blah, blah, blah. He is with Jack White. Like, that helps me, right?
Right, I know, that's super
And I
thrilling.
said, she said, I'm so sorry. So I'm cut loose right there. I
Right.
did say, no problem.
Yeah.
However, I'd love it, tell your husband I'd love a chance to interview with him in case he's open to that.
Good job, good
Okay,
job,
so,
good job.
so a little bit of jump in, a little bit of tag, but hold on, I would love to have a chance.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
then I let it go.
mhm.
Weeks later, she texted me and said, I told my husband I'd love to go with you. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was kind of like, and you always second guess and rethink, should I push a little more? Should I not push? Should I not?
No, it's good to check on them too, like after 2 weeks of them cutting you loose, just like, hey, I just wanted to know how it was going.
And FYI, if you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you notice that house hasn't shown up on the hot sheet,
Mhm.
that's when I'm getting back. If I'm on the hot sheet every single day and that house has not been listed, at some certain point in time, it was lovely, and it was, just so happens and super lovely that she contacted you back. But at the end of the day, I'm watching the hot sheet. If I go on a listing appointment and that property doesn't go on the hot sheet, meaning, and they haven't contacted me,
Yeah.
what's the compelling reason? Has your but because FYI, you guys remember, I always talk about FB, not as Facebook, but as future business. That's a listing out there that might still be available. So I'm going to put that I'm going to put in my mind of A, B, and C buyers and sellers. I'm putting that kind of into a B category. Obviously, they didn't pick me. It's not on the market. I'm not working with them. But B is they interviewed me, but their property isn't on the market. Now, what else could that mean? If they're not on the hot sheet, what else could that mean? They've got their house. They got their house for sale by owner. So am I going by and am I checking on that? One of the most. Did you notice that getting in the? So this is the other thing that I really want to stress too. Did you notice? I think it was a great day because we were out in the. I call it being out in the field. I want most of your day should be spent out in the field.
That's where you do your business.
That's where you get your business. That's where the buyers and the sellers are. And you were actually on going on a listing presentation kind of makes you step up your game. Going and looking at property and starting to make evaluations helps you. Obviously, I can tell you, and Megan, I bet you can tell me too, the more buyers you work with, all of a sudden you start getting really sharp on value. You start getting, because once you've seen 17 houses that are between 320 and 350, you start to see which one of the cream rises to the top and which ones are truly overpriced or they might be perfectly priced, they just don't work for that family.
Right.
Okay, or they just didn't.
Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah, or their motivation, or their somebody could walk in there and be like, oh, I don't like it, or I don't like, it's too, or I could totally hear somebody saying this neighborhood is older. And I'd rather have I'd rather live in West Park where all the homes are more recent than I'd rather live in an older neighborhood. One of the things when we were driving in our car that I was pointing out, some things it's very compelling to some folks when you drive through older neighborhoods, you guys. One of the things I always point out to people is look at the trees, look at the yards. Landscaping is very expensive. Trees are expensive. Flowers are expensive. So when you see people who, if you just kind of think about it for a sec, and these lots are, because they're older city lots, they're bigger. Okay, so people get more on an older home. You have some if it hasn't been updated and maintained, you have some downsides that it's older, but you have some really compelling upsides that I always talk to people about looking at older homes. Bigger lots, more established, the trees, the neighborhoods, that kind of stuff. How about the bedrooms?
Larger.
Larger bedrooms. So did you notice that those bedrooms upstairs were not dinky? You know what I'm saying? So stuff is bigger. Because when we were, in the 70s, families were bigger, right? So the older homes have a very compelling reason. Okay, so you guys said 329. Hajime, did you come up with a value in your mind?
335.
You think 335? Okay. How about you, my love?
Well, my high was 335, my low was 312, and recommended 323, so I came up with. Since I had seen it before, but I have not seen your house, but I just did a CMA. The garage really threw a monkey wrench in it because I went back and I had to put in just 1-to-1, because you can't compare that, like you said, to a double-car garage and so on, and that's where my numbers really low.
Now, interestingly enough, and because you guys also need to remember, really think about this. People who are looking for a 2-car garage, typically people put 2+, right? When you're looking for a 2-car garage, why when it's a single-car garage, do you have to be so careful about only comparing to other single-car garages? Because people typically are going to put a 2+ in our search. Do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about when it comes to garages? You're not going to put a 1+. Because if they're telling you they want a 2-car garage, that means this house won't show up on a majority of searches. That's the other thing that I need you to know when you're talking to people with a 1-car garage. And I kept saying, it's a single delimiting factor. It's a single delimiting factor. It's a single delimiting factor. It means that people who are looking for a 2-car will never see this property. They might agree to look at it if they find it on one of the websites, if they stumble across it in one of their drive-bys, blah, 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 blah. But it wouldn't come up on an MLS search, okay? Or it wouldn't come up if you've got buyers in if you put them on the auto emails and you have it in a 2-car garage, it won't come up on a search. Now, we wanted a 2-car garage. We ended up buying a house with a 1-car garage because there was enough other amenities that we were willing to. This was a settle house. This wasn't the perfect house. This met probably 7 out of 10 needs that we had. The two, and how did we make our evaluation? Well, it doesn't have a 2-car garage, but we like the area, and it doesn't have the 2 bathrooms, but we like it so much, and it doesn't have that extra space for the kids, but our kids were so little, right? So this was a total compromise house, okay, because it had 7 out of the 10 check boxes, and it was in our price point. So we ended up buying it, okay? Versus the other houses that had the 2-car garage, the 2 bathrooms, the extra room or the playroom that just weren't as compelling to us, okay, when we purchased. So do you see how people make their decisions? Also, FYI, when you got buyers and you're searching, okay, and they have a single delimiting factor like a 2-car garage, you can say, because you can prove it now, have you ever thought about compromising on this item? Because what might happen to your search? Okay, boom, you could open up a whole bunch of other potential properties that might be a little bit, again, on the bottom side, but I actually have to fix my house up a lot more to get it to sell. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay.
So I'd go 334.
334, okay. All right, Megan, what do you think? You work with a lot of buyers, what do you think?
Okay, so I did a comparative market analysis. Sometimes I get tongue twisted on that word. But anyways, I honestly think with what I found, it was really hard for me to find comparables due to the downstairs, how open it was, and that's very favorable to a lot of people. And then the kitchen's a little bit outdated. 1-car garage, again, you won't see that on. 99% of my clients are like, nope, I have to have a 2-car garage. I don't want to deal with winter. I want to shovel snow
Yes,
off
yes,
my
yes, yes.
car or whatever. So you don't ever see that unless your client starts getting desperate and
Yep.
they
And they're willing-
and they're in like the $250,000 range, because you're not really going to get a 2-car garage in that range.
Correct.
So
Unless it's a condo.
my recommended on the MLS was 298.3, but I don't feel I feel like that's too less. I feel like I could put your home on the market for 313.3, and it would sell within a month, but I would most likely get 303.9 for you.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Really, I like how you said that. I think it would sell within a month. Okay, I'm thinking, quite honestly, you're low.
Okay.
Just between
Okay.
that, and I'll show you why. Remember, let's go back to tax value, guys.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at tax value. So come here and look at the fact that my property is at 290.
That's what I was confused about. I didn't know
That's
really.
okay. You know, and
about the
there's
tax.
here's what you need to understand. If a property is in really poor condition, you are proving that you could get 295.9 for it. Because does it make
Okay.
sense to you, me and the lamppost, that I'm not selling my house for less than the tax value unless it's a crap shack?
Yeah. And then your house is
Right, exactly.
Sorry.
And no, you're fine. And this is why I want to help you.
Right.
Because you always start with the tax value, guys. This is because here's what you have. These people, number one, they're paying taxes on this, right? Even though I've got my residential exemption and my resident, because I am an owner occupant, it brings my, what it's valued at, I'm receiving a residential tax exemption, right? But you still look at what it's valued at, not what your exemption is. So the 295.9, so you're only a couple $1,000s
Right.
above my tax value, and I perceive that my house is in better condition than a crap shack. So I'm gonna want more, probably, you wanna start with 5, 10, 15, and 20% increments.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think I can get, and 10 is typically what people look at. So at 295.9, would you all agree that's 296? Is that okay for rounding numbers? Okay, so 10% is $29,000. So I'm going to feel pretty confident that I can get at least 10% over tax.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel pretty confident that I can do that, which again puts us kind of in the 230, and you're right, a little bit under the 230, right? Are you getting that? So I would feel pretty confident about that. I'd feel pretty confident on an appraisal about that. But if I started saying I wanted the 250, 260 price point, now I'm getting a little crazy. Because again, let's go back to that single delimiting factor. Did anybody look to see if there was a home that sold in Anchorage with a 1-car or 2, or without a garage that was over 400,000? Did you look?
When we were at Red Robin,
Yes,
we were
you
looking
and
at
Stephanie.
flats.
Yes.
There was no property there, just one garage that was sold of,
Yeah,
Yeah, 400.
they have to correct it.
Yeah, okay, so if you, then you would, and see, that would be the argument. So if I was that crazy seller who said, no, I want $400,000 for that, you could go, oh, you know, again, you don't argue with somebody. You just say, well, let me see if there's been any houses that have sold.
And the thing is, the reason why I went with 315 is because
Oh, which one?
there's a house in your neighborhood that's selling for 315. And it's a 2-car garage.
Yep.
And it's got 250 square foot more than you.
Oh, perfect.
So I was like,
Gotcha.
You know, the lot is a little bigger, and I was like, well, you know.
But here's what I know, and that's, again, I'm gonna come back to this, and you'd have to know this intrinsically. Because I know that my house is gonna sell for more, because people can walk to the school behind me.
Yeah.
And so that has this whole invisible, it's that intangible, invisible value, that although their home might be bigger and nicer or whatever, as long as I'm similar, my house will still sell for more than theirs will. Because if that's a really big deal to you, that your kid can go to that school,
No,
or you don't have to, we're just talking, then that will push value.
No, that's why yesterday, I mean, it's obvious, but if your house is worth whatever someone is willing to pay for, because if
Exactly.
somebody wants it bad enough, I mean, they can give you 360 for it, you know? they'll say, yeah, I
There's
love it.
there's only one problem with that. Can I get an appraisal for
Yeah.
$60,000? Yeah, they can offer that. That's awesome. I'll take it. But I want cash.
You said one time that, generally 20% over the tax charge.
No. I said never more than
Never
20.
more than
Never more
Never
than
more
20.
than 20.
If you start getting 20% over tax, you better have a golden unicorn, is what I said. Okay, and it has to be in, like, I think you are correct. In order to try and push to 20%, I would have to have had the kitchen redone, that bathroom. I might
The
have.
upstairs.
Yeah, oh, you
Whole
get free.
thing,
Yeah,
every
yeah,
single
yeah,
thing.
yeah. It would have to be the diamond, right?
Yeah, and then you'd probably put as much as you're gonna gain, so.
So why would I do that? Well, for me personally, I might do things in increments like I've done over the years. And FYI, one of the things that you're seeing is you're seeing a house of someone who is over the years, I've done improvements to the home that were big to me at the moment, but that incrementally will push value on my home. Do you see that? So when you walk around to the whole house, you don't see that there's you didn't see the one, half bath when it was a terrible little rat bathroom. You don't see the bathroom upstairs when it had the green tub, and the rotted out sinks and blah, 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 So, I mean, if you see somebody who kind of incrementally keeps their value up, this is a case study of like what I believe in. You do small projects to your house over time, which means the day that you go to sell it, you're going to be able to sell at the better end of the market. Whereas I didn't want to go in and have to go drop 50 grand to get my house ready for sale. I'm trying to do things and I'm trying to knock out the big rocks. I mean, obviously, can I tell you when I saw that my window frames were rotted out, I knew that I needed to change my windows. Okay, so you start doing things over time. Okay.
And if you did put another 20 or 30,000, you might knock out a lot of people that would qualify for lower price.
There you go. That's a super good price.
Yeah.
That's a super good point. And again, I don't want it to be, it's not new, right? So I want to, I still have to pay for it, and I gotta live in it.
The marketability thing.
Yeah.
When you're talking about, that this incredible landscaping, which they spent $90,000 on, you had no idea that you were going to recoup that money, right? Because it makes it marketable.
Right.
But
And
not.
right. And okay. So and let's talk about it. And I wish you guys should come back to the house when my next door neighbor has her house in full bloom. She is that master gardener, and I'm talking that master gardener that she's got waterfalls and little fairy, she's got the little, gnomes and fairy princesses dancing through the woodwork, okay?
So yesterday, I was driving home and I happened to see a friend of mine that I haven't seen for a long time. He happens to be next to my house. Not next to my house, but very close by. So I go over there and talk to him. I'm like, so I've become a realtor, let's sell your house. And he's like, yeah, I've been trying to sell for the last 4 years. And then he started talking about all these realtors that went by his house. And something that really threw me off, it says, yeah, a realtor says that if you put electric on my shed, the value will go up $10,000. I was like, why do they come up with these numbers? Like,
This
What did you
nonsense.
say? Put electrical what?
In your shed.
On the shed.
Oh,
If you run electrical to your shed, the value of your property is gonna go up $10,000. And I'm thinking, what? No,
Yeah. I don't
really?
think so.
I don't think so.
Speaking of someone who sold a lot of houses, electrical to sheds never increased the value $10,000.
unless you're gonna put a bathroom. and-
No, but I do want to talk about your point. So let's say you've got the person who is, instead of spending the money in their house, has spent their money on their yard. Okay? Yes, that absolutely adds a certain amount of value. But the buyer of the property has to value the things that you put in the same that you do. Does that make sense? Somebody has to love your taste. Somebody has to love your taste. Okay? And if they don't love your taste, then what? Yeah, if I'm not, and by the way, I don't, did you know one thing that, I don't know if anybody noticed, I don't have plants in my house. Okay, I'm a black thumb. I kill plants, okay? I don't like water, I'm not a plant person. Maybe I need more oxygen with it out.
I'm not a plant person either.
I'm not a plant
I
person.
try watering them.
And they just die.
They just
They
die.
just die, okay? So anyway, I'm not a plant person, but people who are plant people, that's something that they notice. Do you
But
know?
there's some, when I'm talking about marketability.
Yeah, but no,
I'm have to jump, yeah,
Yeah.
but if it's pop, if it's, whoa, it's got blossoms and there's
Yes.
all those little, yeah.
But again, speaking of this though, somebody has to value that 90 grand of landscaping. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you told me a house had $90,000 worth of landscaping, I'd said, please take that shit with you when you leave, because I'm going to kill it. I'm gonna kill it.
That's really
That is so fantastic to you. I'm not gonna pay somebody to maintain it, and I personally am gonna kill it. So that has less than no value to me. And I'm just saying personally. I'm not saying for somebody else. The master gardeners in the world, that would not do it for me. As a matter of fact, that might turn me away to not buy that property, because there's no way that I could keep it in that condition.
But in Anchorage,
Yes.
that's a big deal.
It can be for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that.
And especially, you guys, people who bought new houses and had to go put in their lawns and go pay to get that stuff done, having established lawns and that kind of stuff is the big deal. Okay, Phil, did you do the CMA? Did you come up with the value, or what would you be willing to take my listing for?
So I was part of the crew that was bouncing around 329.
329. Okay. Do you
Because
think you could push? Do you think you could push past that? Do you think you could push past that?
I think it's the garage.
Yep. There you go.
That is the kicker.
The killer.
And when I ran the CMA, it basically said, 1 to 2 garages,
Mhm.
not even 0 to 2, 1 to 2. I did a square mile, and then I just narrowed the price range of homes that were existing, sold pending and listed, until it was narrow enough from like 275 to 375. So basically just screened all that out. It was all stuff, and basically just the majority of the houses were north and northwest of where you were.
Mhm.
So, and I know those neighborhoods. I figured, okay, whatever. But really, I think at the end of the day, it's the garage.
It's the
If
garage.
it's a 2-car garage, then you could probably get 360 for it.
Mhm.
But I think 329.9, because it's tight and there's no way to really, I suppose you could expand it out. You don't even have the land to
No, you
to
guys,
make it work.
and please, and this is my point too, please stop talking to people about dropping garages in their houses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not legit. And I mean, garages cost so much money, getting something through the municipality. Oh, by the way, I think after you left, one of the things was, you just did a big remodel in your house. Did you get a permit? No. If you're gonna do a garage,
Yeah.
you missed that whole conversation. Did you get, your people look at me, you did not get a permit? I'm like, no, I didn't get a permit. Me and every other person in Anchorage did not get a permit. Yeah. But
I was thinking, let's say that's the number that feels right to us after we've explored that and we put that in our listing, and the person's like, really? What I see is 340, 335. Let's say they're the one of those, a little bit higher. So I was just thinking when you were saying that, I was thinking, I might say, well, that would be pushing at the top end of the market, and I'm wondering if, I'm thinking of a couple things I could do, like hitting these neighborhood schools.
Yeah.
Like, the things like the intangible,
Yes.
to see if we could get the people who want the value of the school, the neighborhood, the park. And I'm wondering if you could maybe think about a couple of things you could do upstairs with a door trim.
there you go. There you
So you're
go.
asking a little
Like the
compromise.
kind of the give to get.
Yeah, because we're top of the market, so what are the
Well, the other thing is too, you go at the top of the market like that, 333, 334, you're most likely going to have to negotiate. So do you want to start low and have to negotiate low, or pay the extra closing costs? Start high and maybe come a little low, but you're still in a good range there. But
Right.
you have that room to play there. And negotiate.
Sure. And by the way, at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I used to be like I believed in not taking overpriced listings. Like, I believe in Jesus, okay? I was not taking overpriced listings. And then I had a couple people tell me, you're a moron, girly girl. They're lead generating like none other. Just because you take an overpriced listing, now some overpriced listings, if they're just completely and totally unattractive, aren't gonna get the buyers in the door. But if you can get the buyers in the door, that's a lead. A listing, boys and girls, is a lead generating machine. You should get, what I really want you to get out of this, you should get 2 other buyers, legit buyers that you go put into contract, and you should get one other listing off of every listing you take. So a listing should get you 3 other contracts if you are doing your job. Okay? And again, an open house, I would beg to do an open house in certain houses. Certain houses scream to have opens done 24 hours a day. Do you see what I'm talking about? So that particularly happens to be a house where you'd want to do open houses. As a matter of fact, one of the things you would want to do, okay, you might even want to put an open house sign, are you ready, on the bike path behind the house. Bring them down through, open up the gate, and have them come in the back.
When they're riding a bike.
Where they're riding their bikes, or moms and dads are walking down there to get their kids. I just want you to start seeing different possibilities. Oh, by the way, here's something else I'd put on that house, okay? There are banners. You guys can buy banners. You can get them on Vistaprint, and they could say, Hide Jimmy sold another one, or Hide Jimmy listed another one with your phone number on it. I would put banners on the back of that house and the front of that house. Banners, like 20-foot banners.
Those are usable and they're not too expensive.
Reusable, thank you very much, with Megan listed another one, or Megan Tickner with your phone number on it. Okay, why would I put a banner on the back of that house? A banner on the back of that house?
Parents help out in outside duty, they
Facing the
see that.
school,
they're helping
and all
out.
those people who walk by, who if they don't walk, if they're only doing the walking over by the school. Oh, and by the way, if I'm standing up on the field, and I'm looking down over at those houses and I see that there's a banner on a house, what is my eye gonna do?
Gravitate that way.
Okay, so people are gonna be like, what? And oh, by the way, that could be, you guys, banners. Can you put a banner on a house? You got a ladder, you can put a banner on the house, right? Yeah. And by the way, is it against my CC&Rs?
You don't have any.
I do have CC&Rs,
You're
but
on the
they're
border.
stupid. You know what I'm saying? So do you see the point? Start looking at how could I do things differently. And by the way, if you had banners on that houses, you had an open house sign on the back that brought people down that way. You were doing opens during the day. Can I just you don't have to go. You could do the balloons, but you know what I'm saying. What else? But do you start to see what you could possibly, how you could turn a listing into a lead generating machine with not that much work? Okay, and by the way, you're not doing anything anyway, so going up and talking to the teachers and getting to know them and letting them know. What if a teacher wanted to be able to, did I tell you who owned that house
A
before?
teacher
A
that
teacher
worked there for 20
that
years.
worked there that wanted to walk to school. Okay, so there's, see? So now I'm expanding my pool of sellers and buyers dramatically. And by the way, when I'm listing a house, I'm doing something different than every other licensee is doing. Okay? Now, do you see the value of actually seeing a house before doing a CMA on it?
Yeah.
Do you see the value of doing that?
Before we move on, what is the value that you came up with?
I probably.
Wait, before you
go
say
ahead.
that, I have
Yeah.
a question.
Sure.
Before you say that.
Yep.
So, the question I have is, so you remodeled it,
Mhm.
in my mind, so like, your kitchen is, respectfully, it's a bit of a patchwork, because decent countertop, decent appliances, but it's not new cabinetry, same with bathrooms.
Mhm.
So, to me, I'm sort of like, there aren't complete jobs yet. If I was gonna move in, it's not, the house isn't like complete, what I would call a complete remodel, it's like patchwork.
Oh, for sure.
And so,
For
for
sure.
somebody moving in, I have to look at it and go, okay, well, what's this gonna cost to really bring it up to current standards, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I would tell you that I think at least in houses of this vintage, that's kind of the norm, not the. I'm not the exception to the rule.
I know, and I understand
Yeah.
that, but like, so how much of a premium does a new, and what I'm thinking about is like, I don't know, Jim Murphy had this flip.
Yeah. Oh no, you and I know on City View. In City View.
No, it was off of Diamond.
Okay.
It was just off of Diamond, south of Art. It had no garage.
Yeah.
It was like a little ranch, a cracker box, and they just like,
Yeah.
Beautiful,
He-
you know?
And he did
I
those
saw that.
stunning photos. He did those
Yeah.
stunning
Great
photos.
photos
Yeah.
and probably sold it.
No, he took an 800 square foot crap house in City View that they picked up for, I think, $100,000, and he sold it for $275.
Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah.
With the complete remodel?
complete.
Complete remodel.
Like we're talking gutted.
One of my
But
clients
But like-
bought one of
Just-
Jim Murphy's
just-
remodels.
Builder's grade
Yeah, I
remodel.
mean,
They're
And he's,
beautiful.
and he's
They're
gonna,
good. I
he's
mean,
gonna,
yeah.
that, he has an investor.
Yes, he
that's what
does.
they do.
Yeah, but so like your place, if you went in and like your great room is amazing. It's
Yes.
fantastic. It is turnkey, ready to go. So, but if you brought the kitchens and the bathrooms to that, like to the same state, which is really to me only just cabinetry.
It is. Oh, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
you're there. So how much of a boom when you get a bump? Because
don't-
it
you know,
seems to
and-
me
and-
like
and
flip
because-
houses are bringing a premium
They are.
more than they probably really should because
Correct.
it's not a new structure.
Well, and here's the
It's
thing
just
that I would
the-
tell, here's the thing that I would tell you. It's one of those, I don't know how to describe it. I could have spent the same amount of money in the kitchen that I spent with what I just did.
Yeah.
But
I
it wouldn't have had the same bump if, so
Yeah.
literally, I fixed an obsolete. So do you guys know about obsolescence?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had an obsolete home. Okay, in reality, I had a design flaw in what I consider to be,
Oh, you're sunken.
that sunken thing became a design flaw.
Yeah.
Okay, and then really, if I'd have spent this, and I could have easily, so if you just think $20,000 for cabinetry,
Right.
I could have had a state-of-the-art kitchen, but you wouldn't be saying the same thing about the house had you not fixed the functional problem. We would be equally staring at this point where you'd be like, oh, your kitchen looks great, but this room.
What happened here?
Yeah, but this room, it's got this funk delish, popcorn ceilings, it's got the ghetto fabulous. You'd just be like, where's the disco ball and the lava lamps?
Yeah.
And I mean, you can kind of get around some of that, but at the end of the day, if I hadn't fixed kind of like the big mamma jamma, I don't know that, we're just talking about, and I think somebody could, I'm not saying that they could or couldn't, I think somebody could walk in there and there's some people who are gonna be like, kitchens are a really big deal to them, and some people, kitchens are not a really big deal to them.
Well, your kitchen would be like, if you
Yeah.
super cleaned it,
Right,
it's gonna fly. Because like your line of sight, you walk down, it's like newer dryers,
Yep,
and
yep,
actually that pencils out nicely, and you leave the
Yep.
kitchen, and if it's super clean, people's eyes are immediately lit.
Right.
I really like the fixtures and stuff.
Thank
that
you, thank
picked
you.
in the
Thank
newer, the neat, just, it looks, it's very chic, it's very,
yeah.
updated.
And I agree with you. The thing that I think that I might do that would be like the kind of splitting the hair is I might decide to reface them, or I might actually have somebody come in and paint them. You can't stain them again. They're just not the right kind of material.
And paint would take it a long way.
Yeah,
Just like
paint. I think if they were painted,
Yeah,
of what color I don't know, but if they were painted and with the hardware and everything, the boxes looking sharp, I think it would go kapow. But again, that's a painted cabinet. That's not. That's kind of, again, that's, for me, that's like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. That kitchen really does need to be gutted.
Yeah.
But am I gonna get the value out of doing it? I don't know. If I could IKEA kitchen it, I'd have done it like 20 times. But it's just, you're looking at, and here's what you kind of need to realize, you're looking at every single one of those drawer components or cabinet components, you're looking at just an average, is $500 per box installed.
Yeah.
Okay, $500 per box, am I right on, my friend? Okay,
Wow.
okay, $500. So if you look at it, that's about that's about, just in hard materials, you're looking at about $7,000.
Cabinetry installed.
Cabinetry installed.
Yeah.
And that's not countertop.
And that's not even a particular level.
I do need a carpenter boy.
Right.
Can anybody hook me up? Can I get a witness? Could I meet a handy guy? That would be great. Okay, that would be amazing.
So you know, I cannot be your boyfriend, but I can be your friend.
Oh, we're so.
She needs a boyfriend.
Yeah, he's the one for paying. Again, get out of my house, okay? Hang on one second, back.
My brother had the same kind of a wood cabinet.
Yes,
I think it's made from cedar or something.
okay.
like a hard cedar.
Yeah, these are not, I can tell you, I've stripped these cabinets, I mean, and they're made of just crap. I have no idea what it is, but it's some kind of, these are 70s material. I don't think they're not pressed, there's actual some wood, but they were glazed somehow, or like and they've got a face frame on them, right?
Yeah.
They're made of something special. And the hinges too, that's the other really crap thing. Those hinges they are not manufactured anymore.
I gotta tell you a little secret.
Yeah.
I have done kitchens their size. What about it?
Okay, well now I'm way more interested in you than I was a minute ago, okay?
I'm
Yeah,
talking
just high
just-
facing, just facing.
I'm thinking just cabinets, you know.
Facing, just taking the doors off and facing them, or are you thinking cabinets as well?
The whole thing.
The whole thing?
Yeah, you just gotta time it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes, obviously you're not gonna get high end, and I would not recommend, from my perspective,
Sure.
I will not put a high end cabinet.
No,
in there
and did you guys get that? Yes.
Because it's a small kitchen, it's a
Correct.
hidden kitchen. If it's new, it's new, and
Correct.
that's it, it's beautiful, it's new. I will not do high end cabinets in there because they're hidden, nobody's gonna see them, nobody's gonna, they just have a functionality.
But
And if you time it right, sometimes, like at Home Depot or Lowe's, they have cabinets. I have seen cabinets go for about $120.
Oh, wow, yeah,
Box.
sure.
So you know.
No, I think you're right. I think if you could go in there and you could do it, and then there's also
You
something,
just gotta time it right, because these prices are not around all the time.
yeah, I think you're correct. The other thing too, there's something, I'll tell you another hidden secret just between you, me, and somebody else. Sometimes there's something about doing uppers and lowers. You can sometimes get a totally fresh look at a kitchen if somebody just goes, and uppers are easy to take out because you don't have to replace the countertop. Are you hearing me? So if you just go and replace the uppers, you can sometimes do a really great job.
And have you seen now, one of the new things out is
Is
different
mismatched,
colors?
yeah, mismatched cabinets. Yeah, but again, you have a door style, you have a really old door style that you have to work with. You know?
But you could match your fixtures, your
Yep,
handles,
correct, yep.
kind of splash it up.
Yep. But, yeah,
And
but
then
go ahead.
even one other thing too is, I'm just keep talking about this stuff, is that people take cabinets out and just put like shelving and you know. Like
That
that's,
sounds great,
I
except
know.
houses in Alaska are dirty. I mean,
And
they
earthquake
really are, and I mean, if you,
Alaskans are dirty.
well, I'm just gonna tell you, if you've ever been, go see some of these, I agree with you, go see some of these kitchens where people just have shelves on them, and then look at you have to wash your plates every day before you use them, because there's grit and dirt that settles.
You're right,
It's
yeah.
filthy.
You have to clean the
Yeah, so
shelves.
I would tell you that if you were somebody who's like me, who I actually work in that kitchen, I cook, that would be filthy. I've actually thought about doing that, but
Yeah,
then
you need extraordinary ventilation.
correct. Well, not just that, but you need to like stop breathing, stop breathing, stop. Okay, so, did you have anything else you want to tell me? No?
Yeah,
Anybody else?
so he didn't like the color because
Yes.
it was like, the house was like 70s too.
Yeah,
And he didn't like the color because it's all worn out and old. So he bought this product like
is it the Rust-Oleum paint? I've seen somebody
not
do
the
that.
paint, but
Yeah.
it's like he actually removed all the hinges and
Yep.
fixtures and everything. And then he bought this product more like a wallpaper, but then
Gotcha.
it's like a vinyl top.
Gotcha.
And it's when you put the hit gun on
Yep.
the thing, it just memories.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd like to see how it
And
turned
it
out.
sticks.
I'd like to see how it turned out. Okay, anybody have any questions? Did you find the exercise illuminating?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
It's a
and
great
yeah,
idea.
and do you see why it's so dangerous to do CMAs without seeing the property? So there's nothing wrong, and FYI, I have walked into properties for years and years and years. I pulled the tax records. I want to show you something else. Zestimate, okay? What's a Zestimate?
Shit.
Zillow's.
No, but you know what, you guys, they're doing something really interesting right now. They're doing low. I see exactly where you got your value, my girlfriend, right here. I see where you got your value.
Well, I got it from comparables because
No,
I've
no,
never
I know
been
you did.
taught
Yeah.
about the taxes.
No,
Me
I-
either. Can you believe that?
Never,
yeah,
never.
okay.
That's just something.
No, I based it off the basis of the taxes actually, but I didn't know that there is actually a tax rate because of the home.
Yeah, it's just me being an owner occupant. So
Yes.
probably, absolutely, killer price, most I would ever get for that property, 250, 250. And I agree with you, there'd be some things, and I don't think that the market would bear that. I just don't. If we were in a rapidly increasing market, well, a couple of the things that I'm gonna tell you, you tell me if you're feeling it too. I think that, there's a little bit of economic uncertainty. There's a feeling of the
Election
state of
year.
Alaska
They're
is in
scared,
flux.
the old.
Yeah, oil, state of Alaska, the presidential election, fiscal policy, except interest rates are low.
See, that's the deal. Are you talking to somebody who isn't going anywhere? I mean, you're not in the military, you're a teacher, you're planted. Wow, we're still at 3.5%.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if they go up, typically house prices go down.
well, and oh, by the way, I'm not in a super high price point. I'm not in a $500,000 house. I'm not a $700,000 house. I'm not an $800,000.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in every day, somebody
Average.
can buy this house,
Yeah.
right? Every day.
And every day people are moving and changing and
Correct.
having kids.
Yeah, so that was the active part of the.
So what would you tell your client if they ask you, what do you think about the market right now?
I would say, here's the deal, and
I'm not a scale.
I parse this on both sides of the fence. A lot of people are kind of worried about the Alaska's economy, they're worried about oil, there's the national economy with the presidential election and all that different things. Here's the bottom line, people still, we are not selling insurance. I'm not selling life insurance, guys, I'm not selling funeral insurance, but people want to live in houses. At the end of the day, it's smarter for you to own your own home and have an asset that has the potential to increase in equity because you have to live there anyway.
Right.
So so just think about this for just 1 second. Let's say the market goes totally to hell. Do you still have to live somewhere?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's say the market goes up. That's going to be great. But at the end of the day, you still have to live somewhere.
Right.
I can pay somebody else's mortgage or I can pay mine.
Right.
It's
I
always,
always say that.
I can pay someone else to live in their home, or I can pay myself to live in mine.
My friend, he worked for me and he lost his job. And I'm like, he's selling his house, he's freaking out, and I'm like, well, and he didn't do that in his house.
We didn't have a license, so but never mind.
But and I'm like, why are you freaking out? I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, you're gonna sell your house and then where are you gonna leave?
Yeah,
And he's like, well, I don't know, I'm gonna rent somewhere. So you're gonna pay somebody else?
exactly.
And I was like, well, I rented my house.
Okay, but here's watch this, guys. Every day, even if the market goes totally terrible, if you plan on staying and living here, every day you're decreasing the amount you owe on the property. At some certain point in time, you pay the property off. You don't have so I say stuff like that. I take it away from the economy and I make it about checkbook issue. What's your checkbook issue? Your checkbook is you have to pay to live somewhere unless you can live somewhere for free. Are you able to live somewhere for free? Oh, okay, no. All right, so I can either pay myself or I can pay someone else. And oh, by the way, the market has gone down, what has also happened to the market?
It goes back
It
up.
goes back up. And at least this is an investment that you have some command and control over versus, I'd love to talk to you guys about mutual funds. I despise mutual funds with every little fiber of my being. I lost so much money in mutual funds, it's not even funny. And I couldn't get my money out fast enough before it became worthless. So I used to think I was really super smart when I had mutual funds that were really performing well. And then when the economy went off the fiscal cliff and they were worth nothing, I really didn't feel so great. Nothing.
I need you to take that spiel a step further because
Sure.
now you're facing military.
Sure.
We got here, we are going to be here for 3 years. I could re-up for another 3-year stint,
Sure.
but I'm not sure because of the economy.
Sure.
Boom, go.
Okay, well, no, I want you to know that Alaska is nationally the place where more veterans tend to retire than any other place because it's not just the great lifestyle that we have, it's the stable economy. It's the job, it's the military, give me a second. What do they call them? It's the GSA jobs that people can get, GSA. government service, jobs.
You mean after they retire?
Correct. Correct. And if you really realize, if you're gonna be a military person and you're gonna go retire to Podunk, USA, what is the job market there? This is at least a mixed, healthy job market.
Okay.
Okay, if I'm in, so let me get, my son went to, is in the Army, and he, did his, boot camp in, Columbus, Georgia. And, we flew into Atlanta, which is a really, really interesting place to fly into, and really interesting architecture, and they started the mini mansion movement, if you didn't know that about Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, and then we went to Columbus, Georgia. Okay, Columbus, Georgia is a truly true 2 minimum wage job earner family. Okay, you've got the military base there that is massive and is a big driver, but they have no other single industry. So, you know, kids in the, husband's in the military, he's making XYZ amount of money. Wife's only job opportunity is something making minimum wage. Restaurant, grocery store, mall,
Dollar store.
whatever. There is no economy. Nothing. There's no tourism. There's no this. There's no that. We rented a car for $10 a day. We stayed in a hotel for $24 a night.
I just got back from South Carolina and we're bordering Georgia. And
Yeah.
yeah. It's
So
a hick
everything
town.
So, but my point being is the reason why prices are so low is because nobody can afford anything.
My dad bought his house for $89,000. Up here in Alaska, if it was on Southside, easy $450.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Dad, he has a 30,000 square foot lot. I mean, it's huge. His backyard is 20,000. His front yard is 10,000. I mean, it is. I'm like, Dad, this is not even in Anchorage.
I know. So this is at least an economy that has so many other industries and so many, it's thriving. So
We tend to stay more stable in the lower 48.
what's that?
We tend to stay more stable than the lower 48.
Well, and here's the other thing. I
I
can't say, if you give me an area where they were thinking about retiring to, but I mean, if you're from it depends on where you're gonna retire to. I mean, also go to Arizona. I just went to Arizona. Well, then I can't answer those questions, but this is still a more stable economy than other places.
I'm a
All right, let's take a break.
Oh, yeah, I do need to give you peeps a break with that. Okay, mister.
Because I need someone to mention.
What do you got?
Please.
What do you need?
I'm trying to highlight an area, and I can't, I can look for properties in that specific area.
What are we looking for?
I'm looking for duplex or fourplex.
Duplex or fourplex in what area?
They want to be on the Diamond School District.
Diamond School District,
Aye.
okay. So I'm looking for, number one, I'm looking for multifamily.
Okay.
I'm looking for active, is that
How
correct?
come your flex looks different than mine?
I hit full search. Hit full search. Full search.
All right.
Does your flex look the same as mine?
Now I go.
Okay, full search. I hit multifamily, active. Okay, next. Okay, I'm hitting, no, don't mess with any of that. No. We're gonna go to schools. They told you they want to be in a school, right? Give me a sec. Here you go. So they want Diamond High School?
Mhm. Okay, you went to location, right?
I'm on location.
School. High school.
Diamond.
I just can't use, that amount of sugar you said.
The donut?
Yeah, it's I have a sensitive stomach.
Oh, yeah.
On basic grass.
Depends on how far it gets.
Okay, but I can always go to the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
I'll wait till we get
But I
back.
think I'm ready.
Yeah.
I've got hot
Usually, I don't need to.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I can,
You can watch. Yeah.
okay, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
You are.
Well, I'm so glad that you don't want to miss.
No, I
Makes me
don't.
very happy.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't usually eat things like this. I usually look at the donuts, but I feel like donuts today.
Okay. I'm starting over. I'm doing multifamily, I'm doing active, I'm doing mixed. I'm coming over here, I'm saying acreage, status active. Okay,
So I got a sign called Teresa.
you did. I want to hear what happened.
I was, somebody just called and wondering about the house.
Well,
And which one was it on?
Your day.
And
I took it off the market, but I haven't taken the sign down yet.
so I just found 18 listings. Because I'm looking for active listings on the market, Diamond High. If they say they want to go to Diamond High School, I'm doing Diamond High School.
Oh, yeah, I
18.
found 18 too.
Okay, hit the result, hit show view results.
Beautiful.
There you go. That's what's available, active right now, if they want to live in.
Okay, so I do not want to be using the quick search, I want to be using the full search.
I use the full search. You use whatever you want. I use full search.
Full search will just give you a lot more information.
Full search allows you to use delimiting factors, like if somebody tells me they want to be in the Diamond High School area, I don't have to worry about, because the school boundary is different than our MLS boundaries. So I just pick, if you say you want to be in Diamond High School area, I'm going to pick Diamond High School.
You know what I was trying to actually look at too, and I couldn't figure out how to? And you said, can I sell industrial land?
Mind blowing.
In theory, you can, but you'd have to partner with someone. Yes, you can sell it. You have to partner with somebody.
Okay.
Okay, because commercial real estate is outside your area of expertise right now.
Refer it out. Get paid still.
Don't worry about that. I partner. Well, I gotta learn, I gotta follow the.
Yeah.
We started residential shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay. See, so then there's somebody who might pay, who might pay my,
No,
Commercial scares me because you have to get lawyers involved.
well, I will obviously have to partner with someone, but I would like to follow through just so I can.
Right.
Yeah.
get some transactions before you get into, before you talk to somebody about industrial. Get some transactions under your belt. Go all the way through, because it gives you a workflow, but it's completely different.
Well, I have a customer that wants it just,
Do they have something picked out?
no, I gotta find.
Gotcha. You might want to refer them. By doing a referral, you still get paid, and somebody else who is more of an expert in that area does the work for you. Okay, and that, you may not like that, but that just might be the reality. In order to get it done, if you really don't know what you're doing with industrial property, you will 100% pancake that transaction.
Could you ask them to co-list with you in
You
this,
can be asking-
I'd love to learn. Would
Yeah,
co-list with
absolutely
me
you
if
can,
want
but
more?
here's the bottom line. You can crater the deal based on your inexperience, not knowing what you're talking about.
To make a little more money and you maybe can really learn if they're willing to let
Yep,
you.
yep. And we've got some people that are willing to do that with you, but you just have to be careful. Okay. Alrighty. So anyway, I found you 18 listings right there. Okay, and I use full search, and if somebody tells me that they want Diamond High School, instead of searching on anything else, I just go to Diamond High School. Then I see what's available, then I can narrow it down from there. Okay, because that gives me the full Monty. Okay, so doing the CMA, So what's the difference between a competitive market analysis and an appraisal, guys? What is that difference? What's the difference between a CMA and an appraisal?
Appraiser actually comes out and appraises your home, and the CMA, you kind of do it.
Right.
One's
right,
market
right.
value and one's, well, I guess they're both market value.
They're both an expression of market value, 100%. They're both an expression of market value.
Appraisals
But-
only use closed.
No, that is not true. They can look at other properties, but the most compelling are closed properties. Likewise, the most compelling when you're doing your CMA, I cannot tell you how, I think it's just insanity, the people that I've talked to, and they're like, well, Teresa, the only thing that matters are actives. And I'm like, no, you moron, the only thing that matters are closed.
I only put closed on
Yeah.
my CMA.
Yeah, you do, no, you need to do active and pending as
Okay.
well. Why do you need to do active, pending, and closed? Well, let's talk about,
We need to know what else is on the market, at what price, I
what's your,
guess.
no, you guys need to know what your competition is.
Okay.
You need to know what your competition is. Hang on. What if I show somebody this, what if I set this price and then I find out that somebody has got a really beautiful house 3 doors down that's in 10,000% better shape than what I got? Yeah, for less. Then you don't know what then what's gonna happen? Okay, no, so pending, why are pendings important? Why are pendings important?
Because you can see how many days it was on the market for
Correct.
and what the price range is.
Correct. And also, are you able to call your colleague and ask him some questions? Some of your colleagues will talk to you, some of them will not, but that's not the point. Are you able to call your colleagues? And
Are they
ask them
able to
questions?
tell you what the price is?
Now, I'm not gonna tell you what the price is, but I might be willing to give you some,
How many showings did you have?
yeah, I might be willing to give you some parameters.
Okay.
What would you ask?
Okay, what kinds of questions would I ask if there was a pending? I think it would depend on the house, wouldn't it? I might be interested to know what kind of financing you got. I also might be interested in whether or not your seller was willing to pay closing costs. Okay,
Because that gives you a better reflection, right?
Correct.
What the end price might be.
correct. I might ask you if there was any other things that might be important to know. I might and by the way, I like to, I'm so impressed, oh my gosh, you took this listing and you sold it, blah, blah, blah. I just might let somebody just talk. Any one of you just like get on the phone and just start chitty chatting? Some of you just like to tell me everything and I love it. I just sit there, put you on speaker and I'm like, really? Stop it right now.
And then she goes out in the hall and says,
I know, I don't do that, but I like to realtors like to talk about themselves a lot. Just saying, I totally enjoy that. I don't like to talk about myself at all. You guys like to talk about yourselves a lot. I love that about you. You like to pat yourself on the back. You like to tell me about all your marketing. You like to tell me all kinds of stuff, and I love it. Okay, so a CMA, you're doing a market analysis. An appraiser's doing a market analysis as well. But appraisers have to look most closely at closed listings, and those are the ones they're going to show. But they're also going to see what the competition is. Because FYI, what do they have to? They have to make note on their reports. What's the market doing? Is the market increasing in value? Is it decreasing in
Let us help in
value?
direction.
Yeah.
And inventory.
Yeah,
Like, if
inventory
it's
flows.
The only house in a square mile. that's
Correct.
like- That exists.
Correct. Okay, correct,
It's hard
correct.
to price.
Correct. So, and by the way, do they take our FYI, appraisers have 100% access to Flex. They have their own system as well, okay? And the reason why their system is more accurate than ours is they do appraisals. All appraisers share appraisal data. Did y'all know that? Okay, all appraisers share appraisal data, and they have for sale by owners and properties that have never made the market. They also have refinance appraisals, boys and girls, right? So if I go and get my house refinanced and I get an appraisal done on it, guess what? That appraisal shows up in their database. Does that make sense? So they have access to a ton more information than we do. And an appraisal is making a recommendation to the who? To the bank on what they should be willing as a yield spread to loan on the property. They're also looking at condition, okay? They're also looking at condition. Appraisers see a property through very different eyes than you do. They're not looking for the most the property can get. They're not looking for the average the property can get. They're looking for a number called the most likely the property would get on an arm's length transaction with the property exposed. Here's another thing that's really important, to a property that is exposed to the market. What does that mean? That means that the property has had a legitimate time to kind of, I want to call it cure on the market, where a number of buyers and sellers had an opportunity to take a look at it. Okay? So properties that sell, would it make good sense to you that properties that sold without anybody looking at them are not the most reflective of the market? It's great, but they're not the most reflective of the market because that property wasn't exposed to the market. If it was so great, it might have gotten multiple offers on the property. What did I say? What did I say to you directly when you got an offer in on the duplex downtown, prior to knowing any of the issues?
Well, you're just concerned that there could have been higher offers.
Correct. It was never exposed to the
May
market.
not be the highest and best offer.
Right. That may not be the best offer for your client.
Or best.
Right, because based on financing type, this property's never been exposed to the market. So don't be shocked and amazed when I tell you, properties need to be exposed to the market. Buyers need to be able to take a look at them because that's what's best for your seller. Okay, what the market talks. Okay, does that make sense?
Would that affect the appraisal value at
Yes.
that time?
Yes, because if a property never got exposed to the market, then that means that particular buyer set the price, not necessarily the market. Okay, so appraised values are not averages. They're not the highest it would sell. They're not the lowest it should sell. It's the most likely. That's a very nebulous number, right? So can I help you make better decisions when you're doing CMAs? I'm not looking for the highest number. I'm not looking for the lowest number. I'm looking for the number that's the most likely this property would sell for, exposed to the market. Isn't that a different, interesting way to look at a property? Most likely.
Yeah, but the market has its own value. Let's say you look at the neighborhood in downtown, and the neighboring properties has a value, right? An
Sure.
average value.
Sure.
So that particular house will be going to fall into that value frame, isn't it?
Right, but what is a ready, willing, and able buyer, not with any pressure, willing to pay for that property? Then what will the market bear? There's pressures on the market. Plus, that same person has to be able to. It's great that somebody's saying, "I'll pay $500,000 for your house." Can they get financed $500,000? That's awesome. Properties oftentimes, you guys, can get bid up and up and up and up and up. That sounds great, except then an appraiser comes in and says, "That's not right. I'm not going to loan on
Yeah,
it."
but the place is going to adjust eventually to the market value of the neighboring area. I mean, the house can have a,
No,
upscale
but I need you to understand this. An appraiser is not trying to push value. Licensees are trying to push value. Sellers are trying to push value. Appraisers are not trying to push value. Does that make sense to you? Appraisers are not trying to push value. And they're looking at the overall market, and they have access to information you do not. Okay?
I'm going to pay him off under the table, and he will.
No, he will not. He better not. Okay.
Don't do that.
So an appraiser has to look at more data than you look at, okay? And they have to do reconciliations, okay? So they look at way more data than we do. They have to look at what would this property cost to reconstruct new. Are you looking at that when you're looking at a house? What is it going to cost? No. Are you looking at income potential or what this property, what its income value would be? No, that's not what you're looking at. You're just looking at one narrow band and one narrow stream of value. But your life will change when it comes to valuing properties if you stop trying to get the most amount of money humanly possible and you start trying to get the most likely value humanly possible. Your life will change. Your CMAs will get a lot more accurate. Okay, your CMAs will get a lot more accurate. Yes, ma'am.
Secret number of comparables that you like.
I need to see, when I'm looking at it, I try and do, what my strategy is to go from a big number down to a small number. Instead of what you guys do is you guys do some really narrow band and you're not looking at the overall market. And I can do a couple different CMAs that can come up with 3 different values. So for example, in my own home, I could just do the neighborhood, I could just do the grid, And then I could start using delineating factors that would kick out other things. So I could have 3 or 4 different, and each one of us could come up with different values based on what criteria you put in to kick listings out that I'd like to see. I'd like to see overall, probably in the grid, what's my competition? So, and maybe even the area. So in area 15, I want to see what's my competition. Okay. In the grid, I want to see what's my competition because that house is nearer. And then I want to see what has pended. And then I need, in order to get a good value basis, the most important is the number of solds. So if there, and here's where I say this, if there are no active listings, there are no active listings. I can't make those up. If there are no pending listings, there are no pending listings. I can't make that up. But solds, I need solds in order to come up with a number. The only time I can't come up with solds, actives, or pendings is on that, unicorn property where they don't sell that much, or it's a particular type of property that's very unique.
Are you going back further than 6 months or not?
I typically, it depends on how many properties I can pull. Everything, and everything depends on everything, doesn't it? I don't mean to be a jerk about that, but it really does. It really does depend on, am I in a homogeneous neighborhood? Is this a really unique, strange property? Do I have other factors I need to look at? I have to, obviously you can see condition makes a big deal. So I have to really look at condition. You can't judge a book by its cover. You can't just look at the exterior of a house and just be like, oh, that's what the value is going to be. You can't just look at the interior of a house and say, oh, this is what the value is going to be. You got to take it as a whole, and you have to understand if there's any other intrinsic values. Those are those secret values, right? That you may not know about because you just might not know. So, for example, in your area, if I go over to Abbott Road. Does anybody know what's on the corner of Lake Otis and Abbott Road?
Church.
There was a big church, and what's also attached to that big church now? What's the school? It's a big deal.
Private school.
Pacific Northern Academy.
There's a horse thing down the road there too.
Yep, there's a horse thing down the road there too. Fred Meyer's right there, yeah. And then there's all of, but if you.
There's Handshoe too.
Yep, Handshoe's there. But if you really care about your kid going to PNA, that's a big deal. Up and down that street and up Abbott, that's a really big deal. Because PNA used to be where?
By the highway.
PNA used to be near Sam's, like near Costco and Sam's Club, yeah. But it was closer to Sam's Club, wasn't it?
It was right there on the God.
Yeah. So now that PNA is in the south side of town, what does that make? And do you anybody know the reason why they moved PNA to the south side of town?
Their population.
Because more people were driving to what they thought to the east side of town, or as their. I can't use the word that they used. They were driving to the ghetto to have their kids go to school, and they wanted their kids to go to school in their area where the majority of the families lived. Okay, and they were powerful enough to move that school to the south side of town.
Isn't that kind of discrimination?
Nope, it's not discrimination.
If all your families
You're a corporation.
But they called it ghetto.
I called it ghetto.
Okay.
I think they use nicer words, but I think that the net
That's
effect.
basically what they were talking about.
But the net effect was what? The majority of the families were driving to the east side of town. They didn't live there and they didn't work there. The majority of the families that were paying for that private education lived in the south side of town.
And that's a classic market mechanism.
Correct.
It made that property, another way to look at it is it made that property there in the corner valuable because there was this demand and that property met it, and then everything else falls into place. But it's like a kind of interesting, but not necessarily healthy.
Well, I think if I'm paying for my child's education.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, right. It's super convenient, but it's one of these economic issues. I mean, I don't want to go down this road, but it's like, economic dis.
Well, and remember when PNA started, when PNA started, it was a pseudo charter school.
Oh, yeah.
Right, they went into an actual school. They went into a shut down elementary school.
Right.
So the Anchorage School District was basically supporting, I don't know a different way to say it, a private school, which was kind of like school district policy, that's, you could think that's a win or you could think that's a loss, I don't know, FYI, you know, that. There's a whole nother like really interesting argument about that. But long story short, if you knew that PNA was there and that they, I mean, that might be something that you don't know anything about that might make it a big deal or might bring value in that area for those people. And then you're absolutely right that there is an equestrian park in Anchorage, Alaska. And if you are a horse person and you can take your horse down to the equestrian park and you can have an R6 property, that's a really big deal. Do you see that? So there's intrinsic values in different areas of town that you need to dig a little bit deeper, you guys, is my point, than just the numbers in the MLS. And then you need to, read the listings. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I was just.
Okay, you were just scratching your head. Okay, so why do you do appraisals versus and CMAs? Why are CMAs so important, and why is it really important for you to start looking at not trying to push value too hard?
Because there's so many other factors.
Yeah, there's factors that you're not taking into account. Does that make sense? Okay. There's also, anything. Try this one too. Anything negative going on in that neighborhood that maybe you don't know about either. Okay, what could be negative?
Serial killer.
So, a smell, yeah. Serial killer. How about
Garbage.
garbage?
Gravel
Good.
pit.
What's that?
Gravel pit.
Gravel pit. Okay.
Business out of the home.
Business is out of the home. There you go. There you go.
Sex offenders.
Sex offender. Yep. Anything other thing? Oh, how about this one? Did you guys when I went home last night, they're doing road construction on there. Can I tell you, we were all in a single lane. We were from Jewel Lake Road all the way to the almost as you got off on the highway. We were all backed toward there. So now highway construction or a construction project could do something. A business going in, a business going out could do something. Okay.
I've had neighbors fighting in the front yard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my clients wanted this brand new house and we were about to write the offer that day and they drove by that night just to look at it to make sure they wanted it. The next door neighbors, this is a brand new going neighborhood and the neighbors were like yelling at each other outside and they're like, nope, we're not going to live next to them.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, I gave you kind of a really big negative in my house, right? Just the noise factor. If you like a really active neighborhood where people there are people walking dogs up and down there, there's people walking back behind, that might make some people uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'd be talking a lot about your Chipotle windows and how they screen out the noise.
Did you think that? Did you think they screened out the noise? But
Yeah,
it wasn't noisy. It wasn't noisy, but and that actually was another reason why I chose triple pane, to be honest with you. Yeah, do you remember when we opened the back door? If you stayed long enough, you might have already had gone. When we stayed long enough, we opened the back door and they have recess. Yeah. Everybody was like, oh, and I'm like 24/7. That's what that sounds like.
Do you hear airplane noise?
Absolutely, because Sound Lake is a small plane.
So it's doing a lot of open houses out in the ranch, new construction, right next door to that gravel pit. It was huge, and it was shocking to me. 20 over almost 30 people coming through the houses. Not one person said, "What's the plan for this humongous gravel pit right here?"
And by the way, what can happen to a gravel pit? Anybody know?
Oh,
How about West Park? It can become a subdivision. I partied like a rock star when I was in high school in the Sand Lake gravel pit. And I think there were dead bodies there and all kinds of nefarious activities. I know I did a few nefarious activities in the Sand Lake gravel pit.
No.
well, they can do that gravel pit. Seriously.
You have no idea. You have no idea. What are the future plans for any of us, guys? So your presentation to the seller, how fancy does it have to be? Presentation to your seller, how fancy does it have to be?
It has to be as fancy as you want it.
Has to be as fancy. I think you want to match the person, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
If nothing else, if I don't know the person, if I'm going in cold, I want to have some tools in my toolbox. I want to have a nice seller's presentation. I think we'll probably be working on seller's presentations tomorrow, just now that I'm thinking about it. I want to have a nice seller's presentation. I want to have a lot of nice fact-based things. I'm going to use the statistics. I'm going to use some market knowledge and things that I know. I want to put together, I want to have a little bit of, I think it's smart. One of the things that I found to be very, and I'll give you a true on truth. Because I was born and raised here, I went to school here and all those types of things. I often think I know a lot more about Anchorage than I know. And I'm shocked and amazed to find out that there's lots and lots and lots of things about Anchorage that I don't know, right? So I think, or Eagle River, for goodness God's sake, when my market started moving out to Eagle River, I was shocked and amazed, and I just started laughing. I called it the Republic of Eagle River, because it truly, truly became this like little military town. And I felt like you needed to salute people and you needed to walk around with a United States little flag on your thing. And also, I'll tell you the difference too, in Eagle River, we had a house listed for a period of time. And you want to know what finally sold the house? I swear, I kid you not. We put a United States flag in the flag holder. I kid you not. We couldn't figure out why this house was not selling. We installed we went to Home Depot, and I just said, look at all these guys with all this military crap on their cars. Look at this. We put a flag on the exterior of the house, and it sold within like 12 hours. Well, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, and that is the most subliminal message I can send you.
Or sometimes painting the front door.
Yeah, paint the front door, put a flower box out or whatever. Can I just tell you, it shocked me.
That's
But I
great.
mean, I literally said, I'm like, this is turned into the Republic of Eagle River. Do you see this? I mean, everywhere you go, all the bumper stickers, Semper Fi on the thing, and all that kind of stuff. And I just was like, what? So it was a flag, a United States flag on the exterior of the house.
It's so funny when you live there that you're shopping around.
Do you even notice that?
I do.
But do you see what I'm saying?
It's the norm.
But when I like walked in and I kind of looked around, I was like, oh my gosh, I got it. We weren't marketing to the right person. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, okay. What else do I want to go over before I go and give you another break? You were asking about numbers. It depends on how many.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What's the minimum amount of comparables that you've had?
It has to. You gotta give me more information than that, because I can tell you it depends, and I'm not being
Well,
a
if I
jerk.
walk into a listing presentation
I would
with three comparables, is that like outrageous?
If it's a regular just Joe neighborhood, that's too little. If it's a regular neighborhood that has a normal churn, that is too little. If it's a condominium project, that might be all that there is. See the difference? If it's a condo project that only has had this many sales in the last year, then it is what it is. If it's a neighborhood like mine, then you should have, I think, 5 to 6 sold, however many active, and however many pending. So I think that it's probably more like that. But condos, it is what it is. I can't manufacture sales. I can go back farther, but then I would have to do an adjustment, a time adjustment based on when it's sold, and an appraiser's not going to look at that.
Right.
But I think and then people talk to me all the time about how far back should you go. I honest to God think that you should go no further back than a year at the maximum, unless, again, you have that golden unicorn property where it's a condominium in the Peterson Towers, where I might have to look back on the previous 5 years or longer. Does that make sense? Okay, because an appraiser will have to do the same thing. Okay, and make a time adjustment, because there are no comps. If there are no comps, there are no comps. I'm not making it, especially if you have a really unique property. You sell a yurt, you sell a Quonset hut, you sell a log homes are super hard, you guys. Log homes are so hard to price. That type of stuff. They're just
more better now because there's more of them.
Possibly, but I'm just going to tell you, appraisers and banks hate log homes, and there's nobody that hates log homes more than VA. Just FYI.
Why is that?
VA does not like log.
They have problems.
No, just because. Well, you guys think about it. A lot of them don't have sheetrock in the walls.
Well, of course not.
Okay, but then that's hi. Then
It's wood.
yeah. I mean, they don't have sheetrock.
So when you say you make a time adjustment, is that something physically you do on the CMA, or it's just something that's
Between you and me,
understood?
you like come and talk to me. Like if you can't get comps within the last 6 months to a year,
Okay.
then you need to come and talk to me, okay? Also, please do not use comps that are from 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. Those are absolute garbage comps, again, unless you're in the Peterson Towers, then that comp is something I'm gonna have to talk about. And then I'm gonna have to make a time adjustment. I'm gonna have to use, remember the statistics that I showed you to see the value of condominiums over time. Do you see that? Do you see why I started with statistics first? To show you where you can go to make some logical leaps to value properties. There's a method to my crazy madness to help you out. And then if you are having problems valuing properties, come talk to me. My other favorite thing to tell you is, let's go, can everybody in your mind's eye drive over to Rika Drive for a minute? Does everybody know where Rika Drive is? We're over by the old Alaska Pipeline Building. East High School is right there. There are some amazing condos, and you're going to sit there and say, if you just valued them a certain way by square footage, or if you didn't do a true CMA on them, you're going to find out that these are really large condominiums that have a really low value. Okay? And there's a reason for it. There's a couple different reasons. One is the area. Okay, location, location, location. The second is a crap association. Okay, the next is electric heat and or electric fireplaces. Okay, so these are nice bigger units. Also, the probability that they're going to lose their HFC, VA or FHA financing. So if you don't have HFC, VA or FHA financing and you have a condo, the value of that condo is diminished a lot, because lower end buyers can't buy them because they have too many owner occupants. Not enough owner occupants, they have too many renters. Okay, so that's a factor on value. Okay, and again, you have to look at the finance type to make sure. Oh, one of the things I should ask you, the house that we looked at yesterday, is there any financing type it would not qualify for?
I don't believe so.
Nope, that house should be able to be financed on any financing type. Okay, yes, ma'am.
So with Rika Drive,
Yes.
I just think like looking on the market and stuff, that there's a lot of foreclosure activity. Would you include that in your CMA?
You cannot include foreclosed properties. Thank you for asking. You can include, if it's a property on the open market, you cannot include foreclosures or shorts. And you're so lucky that you're in business right now. There's hardly any short sales anymore, and there are a few foreclosures, but foreclosed values, obviously, are going to drag your value down. Okay, and the appraiser cannot use those either because they're a distressed sale.
And I'm thinking about Moss Creek,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot of foreclosures happen in there, and it seems like when I do a CMA, that's all that comes up.
Correct, but then you have to use those. You have to use those. If truly, I've got 15 foreclosures, if that's the only thing I have, then I have to use those. Okay, but I think we're not in a market where there's like a super high density areas of foreclosures anymore.
And that's why you say don't use those years, right?
Right,
Those-
that's correct. Yeah, okay. All right, does that make sense?
Aren't we only supposed to use, I was told in the beginning 6 months.
You can go back 6 months. I look at a year and then I might bring it up the MLS, it actually, and see, this is where you got to be careful. So we just, like when we turn January, you're going to have listings that go back to 2015 because we're just the first month in. Once you start getting to June, you got to start dropping off those 2015 listings, or you have to you've got to look at, statistically, you got to look and see what is the market doing. Is it flat, going up a little bit, or is it going down? And then you can make a little bit of adjustments. Okay, yes, sir.
And I imagine Flex does this, but I mean, if it's June and you're using comparables from 6 months ago, closed from 6 months ago, that's, in Alaska, the prices have dipped a little bit. That's winter pricing, so.
Yeah,
so
but
you're
you guys,
kind of-
you got to remember, we live, it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It doesn't matter what month the house sells. That's the price, that's the price.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see, it's not like my house, I have to wait until June to put it on the market, because if I sold it in December, I would have gotten $25,000 less. That's not true.
You don't think so?
No, I do
Appraisals
not think
stay
so.
the same, right?
I mean, I'm just saying it's not going to be that big of a difference. So don't talk about winter pricing. because houses don't go on
No,
sale
yeah, I
in the
understand
winter.
it's not like a huge difference, but there is a little bit of price variation because just there's less activity.
The statistics will not bear you out on that.
Well, and I
solds
wonder-
will not
and I
vary.
wonder, that's really why I'm asking the
Yeah,
question.
yeah, no. And that's why I start with statistics. That's what I showed you that, so if that were true, then there'd be 50 houses listed in December that would have sold for a significantly amount less. And there would be 150 houses listed in June that would have sold for $50,000 more. And that's not true. You notice that our market band is very stable. There's the same number of listings on the market kind of per month. They're starting to go up a little bit. There's the same number of solds. So there's the same kind of number of solds in December that there were in June. So, and there's obviously more, but what you will see is number of listings on the market. I'll give you this. Here's what I would tell you. If I have a dog that barked, okay, I might list it in the winter because people who really have really beautiful homes and beautiful yards do tend to list those in the summer. I'll give you that. That is legit. And do you know what I mean? If you have a property that's not in the greatest condition, if there's not that many listings, it has a better opportunity to get more viewings because it's up against other not as nice listings. When houses, like when the flowers come out and houses are beautiful, and this especially is true about yards. If you've got a house that's got like a troublesome yard, way better to have it listed in the wintertime than in the summertime. Does that make sense?
It's a fresh coat of snow.
That's right. Covers a lot of bills.
White.
Right? So the other thing, what other types of, what kinds of marketing are you going to do on a property? I kind of mentioned some different marketing ideas that I would do in my own neighborhood. Okay, why might I do some different marketing than you do? And what are some other marketing ideas that you can do that you're not doing?
Go
So-
to U-Haul.
Go to U-Haul.
Tell me about that.
I don't know, just go drop your cars off at U-Haul.
Oh, interesting.
People are going to, they're moving
Oh,
out.
listen to her. Go talk to moving companies. What? Good for you. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Nice. How about anybody ever see what does a yard sale mean to Teresa? People are moving. I go actually attend garage sales. I just stop.
And you
Sometimes
stay?
I don't stay. I'm not creepy. I just attend.
Can I see your house
Okay,
too?
I just attend. I might ask them some questions. Okay. All right. What else? I will tell you if you start noticing a neighbor. By the way, can I tell you how many people stopped at my house when I was doing my remodel and asked me if I was selling my home?
How many?
Neighbors or realtors?
Probably over the year, I probably had 6 different people come knock on my door and say, I noticed that, because, obviously they were seeing things like material coming out, material going in. People stopped and asked me, they saw, if you those windows in the front, you could actually peer through and see somebody in there doing work in there. I had numbers of people stopping and asking me, no realtors, but people asking me if I was going to put my house on the market.
So these were interested buyers.
No, I'm not selling against you. And I obviously, by the way, the remodel was going so crap, I was like, did you just seriously knock on my door? Get out! Can I come see it? Like, no! But isn't that interesting? So when you see somebody who's improving their house, painting the exterior, if you see somebody who's really working on their yard, what does that tell you? If you see somebody who'd never put a flower outside in their life, what does that tell you? Maybe another place you guys should go market to. Ooh, okay, on Megan, on your theme, how about go meet some people at Bell's Nursery and Home Depot, kitchen remodeling places, okay?
Go door knock your favorite neighborhood.
Go door knock your, I would start, if I was gonna do a door knock, I think what I would do, you guys, is I would do a campaign. I would send out a letter saying I'm gonna come. I would send out a postcard saying, get ready, I'm gonna come door knock your neighborhood, and then I'd go door knock the neighborhood. I would do a campaign. I wouldn't just go and knock on people's door. Huh? Yeah, and then, I know.
Don't waste my time.
Yeah, they'll be there to start. I'd wear a Jack White vest or a Jack White t-shirt or a Jack White something.
Where do we put our orders into that?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you guys are independent contractors, go buy your own shit.
Buy your own shit.
Go get a vest. No, there's, I'll help you.
None of that.
Yeah.
There's one in Minnesota, they will have now, they're gonna Jack White people were picking up trash.
That's right. Hey, James Sparks, Jack White people were picking up trash.
There's nobody upstairs, they're all out.
Habitat for Community
Sorry, I
Builders.
was late.
Hoot, hoot, hoot. That's right.
That's a very good advertisement.
Oh, they just came in. I just saw them walking by.
We had
They all their donuts.
Really?
Well, you decided to come get 2 hours of education, so be happy with what you did.
Oh, it was today.
It was today. Be happy with what you did. Okay.
I didn't get an email.
I don't know what money, I'll see what we can do about that. I don't think I got one either, or I might have asked you guys if you would have rather done that than done class. Although I would have rather done class than pick up trash, not gonna lie. Have you ever gone out and picked up trash?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, seriously, if you're driving Minnesota.
Yeah, was that-
Buy a house, I'm looking at Jack White to clean up.
And you're saying to
Wow,
yourself, oh
what
my
a good
God,
people.
I
I'm
like
gonna-
these people.
I'm gonna call them all.
I like them a lot more than I liked them 10 minutes ago, right? Okay. Okay, so what other kinds of marketing things are you gonna do? So we've got that idea with the forget-me-not seeds. You guys, I don't know if you wanna, that's a marketing idea. If I was gonna door knock, I might do that. If I was gonna door knock, the other thing I would wanna have is things to hand people, just between you and the lamppost. What are some things that you could hand somebody?
Sticker.
Like what? What kind of sticker?
A magnet.
A magnet. Yeah, you could do a magnet. You could do a calendar. What's that? What else?
Spatula.
Is there, if you guys, you guys, come on, like, don't go spend money. What do you, come on now. Use what you already have.
Don't go spend money.
Statistics, thank you. I don't want you spending money. Thank you very much, Lovey. I don't want you spending money. How do you like me trying to not spend your money? Is that okay? Hand out what you already have.
I was
Could-
gonna put up billboards downtown.
Oh, good for you. Good luck with that. Alaska doesn't like billboards. Could you have done a quick, you guys, even sight unseen? What did I start with when I started the CMA? I started with a quick statistical CMA. Could you do just a quick statistical CMA? Say, gosh, I've never seen the inside of your house. I know this doesn't reflect your particular home, but I just did a quick statistical CMA of just this neighborhood. And if you'd like to come and have me formalize these numbers, I would love to sit down and meet with you. As a matter of fact, are you ready for this? Do you know who calls me every single year to sit down with me about my financial portfolio? Financial advisor. My financial advisor comes and talks to me about my real estate. They talk to me about my insurances. They talk to me about money I have. They talk to me a lot about where I spend my money. And I'm like, you'd make a lot more money if you would stop buying books. And I'm like, you're going to make a lot less money if I fire you. So which would you like it? Okay, Mike, so I guess that means I'm not going to stop buying books. So shut it. I will buy them off of Amazon. I'll spend 99 cents on a book and I'll spend $3 on shipping. That's right. That's how I roll. Okay, but what's the point?
He makes contact with you so you don't.
He
forget
makes
about
he
it.
makes contact with me every single year to sit down and go over my needs. Why wouldn't you make contact with with your own neighborhood to sit down and go over their real estate needs every single freaking year? Challenge given. Challenge given. So if I were Phil Barnes and I had kids in a school, I would try and make contact with every single one of those parents to go over their financial needs in real estate, just like a financial advisor, because I would want to position myself in their worldview as their real estate trusted advisor. I hope somebody went ding, ding, ding. Did you get that? Okay. I would put some time, energy, and effort. Now also it's springtime, you guys, and summer. What's a great time to go walk neighborhoods and door knock and do all that kind of stuff? People are out in their yards. People will talk to you when they're outside.
They will when they're outside.
They will talk to you.
Alaskans like people knocking on their door.
I hate you knocking on my door. I don't mind talking to you if you just say hello outside. Okay? But I'd like to punch you in the throat if you come knocking on my door. Several people I know and like. But I'm just like, your average Joe, like politician or, Jesus freak. I'm just like, I have Jesus. Thank you. I'm good. I have Jesus.
The missionaries.
Thank you very much. No, my brand is just as good as your brand. We're all good. No,
We're all good.
I don't want to talk about it. I want you to have a great day. Okay. Thank you for stopping by to make sure I had my Jesus. I do. We're good.
Hey, Teresa?
Yes, sir.
Did you spill the beans on what you thought your house was for?
Oh, sure.
I was in the room, or I don't know.
I probably think that I could, right at the moment, I think I could probably sell it for $330. I think that would be pushing value. I think I'd have to pay, I'd have to pay closing costs. I think if I redid that kitchen, or refaced or did something like that, I might be looking at probably $340. And depending on how the market goes, again, I might be just cresting values. I do think though, I would get into a multiple offer situation and I might be able to swing myself out of not having to pay closing costs, but that house is not for everyone. And that one car garage is gonna be a real trouble for me to overcome.
Okay,
No.
so we gotta work on
But
this
did you
then.
see that? It's blue with white trim.
Teresa,
Or
we gotta
gray,
work, we
depending.
gotta work on this, see?
Okay.
Maybe I throw you a deal, in the kitchen, and we'll do it,
Oh, listen, see, you're fired again. Okay? I mean, Abraham, I don't know what to do it for you. You keep giving me the, if you do this, then I'll list your house. And I keep going, you're failing with me. I'm like, get out of my house, right? But we'll talk. We'll talk.
Can I
Okay.
ask you one?
Yes,
So go back to your house.
yes, sir.
I recall you were mentioning like you bought it straight from the builder.
No, sir. No, what I said was the property had never been on the multiple listing service.
Mhm.
The person I bought it from brought it directly from the builder,
Mhm.
lived in it for 25, 30 years, whatever, sold it to me, and I've lived in it for the last 15, 16 years. So I've lived there, and I have lived there since 2016.
So let's say in a similar neighborhood,
Yes.
and then if there was a fresh house
Mhm.
being standing over there versus maybe a house being sold for so many times already, maybe twice, 3 times, how we do
Oh, does it matter how many times the house has been sold? Is that what you're thinking? No, I don't think.
versus
No, that just, no. Well, new construction is always going to appeal to people who want new or who want to be able to pick out their own material. But it has downsides in the fact that it doesn't come with fence. So obviously fences, blah, 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 yards, blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't come with that. Yeah,
Washer and dryer.
fridge, washer and dryer. Yep. Okay. So anybody, if anybody is having problems with your CMAs, I am your go-to girl. You can see that I'll sit there and I'll do a CMA, and I work big to small. I really look at single delimiting factors. I look at things that are really going to kick out or knock out. I'm always asking people for single delimiting factors. If you've got a 3-bedroom, 2-car, two bathroom home in Anchorage, Alaska, can I tell you how interesting this used to be, you guys? This used to be the narrowest of narrowest bands. Back when I started selling real estate, you could sell a 3-bedroom, 2-car, 2-bath home in Anchorage, Alaska, pretty much between $140,000 and $170,000, swear to God, depending on location, yard size, and condition. So you get about a $40,000 band based, and I'm just talking my average Joe neighborhood house. That's all they sold for. Now you can be anywhere from $200,000 all the way up to, pushing, 350, 360, 370, 400. That's a huge band, depending on area, condition, how big the house is, etc. So it used to be this narrow, teeny tiny band, and people would call me up, what's my house worth? Do you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage house? Is it an average Joe neighborhood? I'm not talking top of the top. I'm not talking bottom of the bottom. I'm talking my average Joe neighborhood, right? It's between $140,000 and $180,000 depending on condition.
And if they told you their neighborhood, you could even.
I could get it closer, okay? Now, that's the issue with what it was. Now it is what it is. The bands are huge. Do you see that? Okay. Any questions on this material? So I give you a certificate for 2 hours of either post-licensing or continuing education, whatever you prefer.
What do we do with the certificates?
You keep them because you have to turn them in.
Okay.
Okay, and I think you already have this one, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I think when I looked at your checkbox, this is stuff you already have.
So do I need
You've already done your post license?
Yes.
Guess what? You can use this for your renewal, 12 hours of electric credit.
Okay.
Towards your 12 hours of electric credit. How's that?
Okie dokie. So where do I,
I'm gonna be a sweetie.
are you gonna tell us how to fill this in?
Yeah, you write your name in there and
Okay.
pick ECD credit.
Okay, thank you.
You gonna do break dance? Yeah, we're gonna break, right, okay. So this is interesting, we got an email to all realtors about the Little House Ranch, because I'm
Yes.
looking for my client.
Yes.
Well, so I'm like, oh, I need more details, I put him on MLS, he's not on MLS.
It's
He's on
not-
Realtor.com.
No, it was just, it said off market.
Still, it
he's
was
got
on
it.
Realtor.com.
He's showing an open house for something.
Oh, and maybe a scam.
And he
No,
sent it
it's
through
Mike,
MLS.
it's Mike, my phone.
Yeah.
Why don't you call him up and ask him?
That's what she was thinking. Call. You think maybe they
Ask-
just
say
didn't
ask-
enter the MLS?
Don't. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, shall we?
Anyway, if I want more detail, I can.
Yeah, well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Mike what?
I'm just curious about that because I'm like, wow.
I'm gonna run to the restroom, guys, and I'm gonna do one bit. Break.
Good.
Help! But, you know, it seems really interesting. What did they say? So.
She must have grasped it when we said
265.
Well, it's like.
3:30.
You should have seen what I said.
3:30.
No, 11 Harrisburg Road.
It's 1176.
Yeah,
This one's a little bit more.
that was, yeah, you said 3:33, I said 3:20.
Yeah, they were, and then.
I had a.
It's very kind of slight tax, so yeah, you can compensate for maybe $2,000.
You know.
You know, I mean, okay, so the, like, there's a ton of business built into it, and so it throws stuff out. So even if you know you have some one car garage houses, and there's some one car garage, and then it's gonna compare those against two car garages. and value
So these
the
are
right,
all,
and then
like,
compare the bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage.
being
Price
generated.
With that, it'll.
Yeah, what I got is.
The program runs the statistics, and you just have to sort of trust them. That, you know, but then seeing each year, seeing what you have. And that's the next step, know where and what you need to put, because my CD had like 340 something is the high, and like 280 or 275 is the low, and like the mid was like over 300. Not 300, you know, but it ain't 350 either, so. You know, but one of the questions I was asking Teresa was like, you know, since it is a bit of a patchwork right now, the kitchen and bath aren't really completely ready to go.
Yeah, but can I tell you something interesting? Not anybody brought up the kitchen as when the pit was there, people always used to bring up the kitchen. No, but no, it used to be like a
It's
really,
because when we first walk in, you're so wowed.
Do you
It's like, yeah, I think so. It's,
Okay.
when I first walked in, I'm like, wow, it's so beautiful. And then I walk towards the kitchen, I'm like, whatever.
yeah, but it used to be that people would walk into the kitchen and be like,
There is a psychology there, I think, like, once you have enough nice and you're like, okay, I can look
I can
past
deal
this
with
and
that.
not like,
I'll give that.
Right.
and then you look in the kitchen and a couple boxes checked, and you're ready to go, like, okay, well, it's not a big deal, like, put cabinets in, that could be on me. 'cause there's so
Right.
many
No, I
things done.
understand
Right.
they laid out.
Especially knowing that there used to be a sunken,
Yeah, yeah.
and imagine what it would look like.
So,
Yeah,
with
wow,
that
wow,
fireplace,
at least we got the sink.
what's the separation between like a
There's
dining
just minor
area
things that I
and
want to change if I was fired.
Yeah, right. And I want to, this thing is noticing, like, that's in the picture, not like just Home Depot.
It was painted though, outside is painted. It
Yeah.
was painted, I noticed it was painted. I was like, that's too good.
Yeah.
And paint is expensive, my mom just got her house so
I totally agree, but over 100%, but at my point being, same thing in.
You have to like pressure wash,
So-
sort of stain, and
so that was the whole reason why they laid it out like that, like separating.
But we have other positions that are not.
I will never.
I wanted it.
You got engineers.
That's what everybody wants. They like to know that was
And
But I don't know, and then new paint upstairs, new carpet.
So what I'm saying
No,
is,
and Teresa's, I was preparing, so that's what I was.
Yeah.
so when you give the private sector, which you like, you're gonna get more.
Yeah, but here's the difference, when you're really saying this.
If you're not like Home Depot,
Restaurants start to like.
whatever, like somebody went out
Oh.
and found the
That seems to
design.
be
Like,
residential.
I'm like, that's
So when I-
expensive.
And what
You
we
never really, like,
This nation, like.
No, but they're not,
I
but they're not
definitely
having
understand
that.
what it was like.
Are they? For sure, it's in your
But
town.
And I
Well,
just
it's
so
made
big
something
was
interesting.
But then, but they're.
But we had these rules for.
for so long, it's
In,
cool.
no, so I did not know.
That brings me
Then we ought to.
much more than.
No, but
Retail. All over.
You too.
All over.
But that's my point.
Right, like, I hate the, number one pet peeve is from cutting the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Why didn't you take
Or on the
it?
trim.
Yeah.
Or the trim.
The windows.
The door, or, yeah, the window, all you guys do is just scratch it off.
Where
Yeah.
people are still working. I can't answer.
I mean, that's one of my big pet peeves.
I can't answer, but.
A buddy of mine, has been redoing his house, actually, just as
People are
like
not the.
south of
And that's
school.
it.
Going to warrant,
It's a one-car garage deal. He's taking that house.
Adjustable.
So I can't
just
answer.
got rid of that.
Their
And then
engineers
on the bottom,
looking
I
like
got
walk
rid of
in,
something
very
else.
unambiguous,
Because
very
it's like,
quiet.
you know,
Just
just
kind of looking, you know, like cracker boxes,
like, you know, they can
And-
get the license.
it's super cool.
Because if it's private sector,
You know.
Well, if your
Like,
kid, if your
okay,
kid,
mom,
if your kid gets elected.
Like, when I go to a space, I'm like, I'm a very.
Oh, come on now.
No one like this.
Come on now.
So, like-
Probably maybe brought up.
No, I
am.
They just, like,
Right.
take it out.
You want to make America great.
You know, certain
Well,
states-
this is November.
Now we just have fun.
So why are you listening?
Wow.
That's
Real
good.
lessons, you know, like how you
Close
can
to
take
6
something
months.
and
Right.
Just this year.
Right.
So we're trying
Yeah,
to-
that when that University that my client bought for him, I did history and saw what it
And
looked like
then,
when he bought it, and oh my god, it
And I
was
went
like,
down
they
to
even
the
moved the
make
door,
sure
like,
that
where the
Yeah.
front door was. I mean, it's beautiful.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's over on, it was his property on East 9 last year.
I got saw.
And then the
So,
machine
well, he
does
did
the
one.
adjustment, you know.
So I live on Wesleyan Drive,
Does that.
East Acres, and he did another trip there, so it was right, on one side of Wesleyan is Chesapeake Trail, so I was back there, Chesapeake Trail over there. And so this was the house there, and he got some, how much he paid for it, so it was like a early 70s split level, like the garage was at an angle, and it was ugly, and it was terrible, the yard was terrible, and they completely got it. And he probably
And
paid
that's how I got
$250 for it, sold
So
it.
what it'll do
House
too
for
is here's her house here,
$439,000.
parallel.
It's on the trail, and it's right by Prague, and, you know, the university, and people, doctors, like, want to be able to walk to work. And so if you take one of those houses, and you make it turnkey, and make it beautiful,
That's about
the
it.
value
So,
goes.
but see, this is
Wow,
hers.
that's crazy.
It's like, it's,
That's crazy.
yeah, the whole remodel
It
thing.
was one on the bottom, but I keep it.
How much?
But it wasn't really. This is-
Clearly, this market, people are, if like,
And
there's
then the
something
machine
that's
just
really turnkey
took that out.
and ready to go, people are willing to like,
But
pay
now
for
what
it.
she's saying.
They're willing to
is
throw it
somehow
down.
she-
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here for a while. It's just like
Yeah.
value.
Silence.
And it's almost like, it's a little irrational, but it's kind of like, there's so much junk, it's almost like a kind of a weird situation, because people see, they see so many crappy houses, and they're like,
Karen.
And then you see that
and
one
then you see
beautiful one.
one,
you just have-
well, you know, the effort required to get it to that point, you know, it's like, oh my god, this is really a lot of money, and people are like, okay, there is value here, because there's been a cap. So, we really was gonna make some money,
Age of the home.
contractors did,
Garage,
it's
with
gonna
the
be easy
residence,
too, and so many houses are so complex for.
And then, would you ask
I
the
think that's
area?
what you're seeing.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
I wonder about.
Did you do it while they're on the phone even, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's kind of gonna
And then I would
be
follow up with
houses
email, but I would
up,
definitely ask
ready to go,
for all that stuff.
You know, or.
Because the appraisals will be,
Because there's more and more flips, that's like.
Right.
the market.
See, when I did hers, like this
Every
was
year,
her
there's more
house.
crap out there.
And
It's ready to
what I
flip.
did is I keep
They
everything
sell
else
it, they don't sell it,
that
they end up selling
had
cheap,
more than
and
one car
someone buys it
garage.
up, and it gets flipped, and all of a sudden it's ready to go.
one
And that
penny
just
and
like
two, that was
makes,
her house.
there's like this, you
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
have
one
and have
penny
not
and
kind of
two
market
clothes.
setting.
and tried to stay close to the
Right.
6 months.
you can't,
Right,
you
and
can't
it
close
and
to
it
what she
increases that
Yeah.
said, because people are like, well, this,
But
you know,
the,
Right.
in this
the,
price range.
as she
Because
called it,
stuff
the
that's falling in
limiting
like
factor
the
was I
upper
had
price
to
range
figure out
of
about
the
that
house,
I could only have
and
one
making
car
it,
garage.
making the stuff that hasn't been
So that limited it
look
right
even
there.
worse.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Big
it's,
competition.
and it's a new, and I think photography and Zillow and it's just driving.
Yeah, I see.
It's a kind of a trend.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody
So
else-
that's within the ballpark. Yeah.
But I have to go
Okay.
back.
I forget what it was. There was something else on the bottom over here and I X'd it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have done an area.
You have to go pay them. They're like, you can't buy any more stuff.
Yeah, I did do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike, I have a seller and I think they're, I have a 1977.
So when your son, graduate from, basic.
Yes, sir.
When was
Yeah.
2014.
So their house is like,
He was infantry.
sell this for them?
for?
And it's okay.
So that's why he went to, Fort Benning.
You went to Fort Benning, yeah?
That much nicer.
I've been, did you hear?
I was at the Fort Sill.
Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm not sure, it's just worse.
Does it?
Yeah, then he's.
But it was just like a big
He
lesson.
wanted to go into special forces. He wanted to be either Delta or.
Right.
He wanted, he really wanted to do like SEAL team. So.
Now
And he said, I'm not a TNT guy.
So maybe photography come back?
Hey, well, those are the best ones because then they get easy when you come back because you already did all the work for them.
Yeah.
Basically, and then you just gotta write the contract.
You're right, I'm opening the.
It will. Say it out in the air. It will.
It will.
You will write a contract with them. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're really.
Hi, so, and then this is when it turned to the new license.
Or, what contract to sell it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm gonna sell that house.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Say it out in
super
there.
excited about it. I know it's gonna sell, because it went from like me being like, I'm not sure like how this is gonna
Right.
play,
Bro, I
to
got
like,
that.
I'm excited.
That's exciting.
Oh,
That's exciting.
And it was just being new, like, just like.
Well, it's coming up on the market, so are you gonna bring it up in the meeting today?
So, but just kind of like, just the effort to like get the property ready to go, like, you know, and get, and work with the seller and really, yesterday, so Northern Land.
So you already did write the contract.
Oh, yeah, I don't have to listen, yeah.
That's what we thought.
That's
We
what-
thought you
that's
were
what-
going to get the
No,
list.
no, I have the
Okay,
listing.
Good,
No, I've been working to get it ready to put on the market, and we've actually, I had to redo the non-MLS to push it out a couple more weeks to give more time to get it. But I don't, that's one question I've been asking Teresa, it's like when you sign a listing agreement, you need to somebody, you might be ready to go, but you don't want to necessarily sign it. You do, but you want the non-MLS, but the big thing is you want it to go on the market with 0 days.
I do it, I pulled that.
Right.
I was doing it.
So, but if you're like talking 3 months out, you want the listing, you want to market difference. But
So you found a non-MLS?
you do a non-MLS.
Yeah,
And then whenever you finally do the MLS, it will go on for 0 days?
Well,
Yeah,
if
you
you
put
call,
it on for the day that you,
Yeah.
okay, the day that you put it on, and then the lag time, the time that you sign the listing for the day that you put it on. So I think your duplex or some ranch that went home, it was the first day it went on, it was like 36 days.
yeah, it was supposed to be 0 days.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 0,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but good thing you did that non-MLS, because they'll take that time and
Yeah,
stuff like that, but when you put it in for the day that you put it in.
Okay, so if you find a seller and you go to a listing frame, but they're not ready to put it on the market yet, you fill out a non-MLS?
yeah.
I've never put that, I've never
Because in your
worked with a
listing,
seller
it
before.
has the A, B, and C choice, whether they want to market it right away or they want to wait.
It's
What
B.
they don't want.
It's
It's
B.
B, yeah.
And we have to get that signed by Dave, don't we?
What's that?
The non-MLS, yeah.
And the whole reason is that, is because you don't want the appearance of a pocket listing. You don't want to,
Or them going anywhere else.
well, right, you want them to sign the listing, so you have a contract with them. And sort of, something I'm wondering about is like signing a, like, agree to services contract. Like something I could sign, so I don't have to sign the listing contract, so we can just really write the listing contract and state what's going on. And boom.
Does anybody have any higher end questions you want to ask me about
I'm gonna get your
CMAs?
house ready. You know,
Well,
and then we're gonna sign the listing
Does
contract.
CMA
It's gonna go for
take
this period of time, because you want the listing contract to go for at least 6 months, right?
Highway behind the house.
But it's like, that's the thing too,
It
it's like
certainly would
you,
be
so like
indicative
with
when
these
you.
guys,
Well, the appraiser,
I mean, I push off the listing contract.
right,
So
higher than
I
what
ended up
we
redoing
ended
the
up selling the
contracts
house.
before that when we did it, so,
You know,
so
Just
the
because
listing
of higher
contract is 6
and
months.
it's appraised
You know,
at 375.
Anyway,
Interesting. So,
Yeah, I mean.
but that's not what it was.
Why would they
360
appraise
of
it
it, right?
at higher if they didn't need to?
yeah,
because again, they're not looking at what the highest is, they're not looking at what the lowest is, they're looking at what it should have sold for.
Yeah, and that was it, they changed rates on it, and I was sick, but I knew nobody wanted to pay for highway.
And by the way, And if it had really been worth more, you'd have multiple offers and it would have been bid up.
So again, there's that thing,
I've
what
listened
the
to
value's
it.
there.
Mhm.
They're not market analysis thing.
They're already
But
hired, they're
so-
already hired.
Oh, even for my crazy house, listen to me sitting here going, oh, well, you know, that school is gonna pull this and Kincaid Park.
It'll pull some and drive some away.
And then what happens, if somebody goes in and goes, you know, lady, listen, lady, we got a 1-car garage, this is a $300,000 house. You know, so the market might just jump up and bite me as well. You see that? So, although it should appraise for more, it might not.
I think the way you went at it though is smart because
Okay.
that we.
Anybody have another question about CMAs or appraisals?
Can you show me how to do
Well, how do you start to do a CMA, guys?
Okay, what?
What is a CMA? How do you do a CMA?
Full search.
Full search.
Search.
Full search. Get your computer up.
And we do everything, active,
Mhm.
pending. See, I did just closed.
Nope, don't do just closed. Why is closed not the most, not the full picture?
You missed the most likely.
But the pendant's not telling you what it really said.
Doesn't matter. It's telling you why did that property get an offer on it and another property didn't?
Okay.
Also, it's somebody who missed your house, right? You missed that market. What does that matter? Tell me why that matters. Help me out, you guys. Tell me why that matters. Your house wasn't on the market. Okay, now it's come on the market. What happens if that house is in superior condition to yours? Wouldn't you want to know if that property got multiple offers and it bid up the price?
How would you know?
Call and ask. You have a phone, lovely. Let's call people.
And they'll tell you.
No, maybe. They might not tell you anything.
If it's somebody you know or maybe.
By the way, there's ways to talk to people. Is there? Isn't there? So, oh my gosh, okay, watch this. See, okay, now Karen knows me. Karen, I'm calling you a blind, okay? Now Karen, I know Karen. Are you ready? I'm not saying doesn't have the heart of a, Karen has the heart of a lion and she's super strong, but I also know something about Karen that you probably know something about Karen just by talking to her. She's a very nice woman. Okay, she's a super, super nice woman. So if I'm going to approach Karen, how am I going to approach her? First of all, yeah, right? I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, Karen, this is Teresa Block from Jack White Real Estate. I saw that you just pended a property on West 82nd.
Congratulations.
Oh my God, congratulations. Hey, is it okay? I just want to pick your brain for a second.
Sure.
Okay, see?
How are you, Teresa?
Yeah, nice to meet you. You know, and here's the thing, FYI, here's something I do too. I pretend like they know me even if they don't know me. Because, I mean, believe it or not.
Sometimes they don't remember.
Hey,
we talk to a lot of people.
Teresa, how are you? Yeah, how are you? What's going on? So, oh my gosh, I just saw that you pended the property on West 82nd. Hey, if you got a quick second, I want to make sure I caught you at the good time.
Of course, always for you.
Okay, thanks so much. Hey, I just want to ask a couple questions. I know the property is pending, and I don't want to ask any confidential information, but I have another property that I'm thinking about listing, and I want to pick your brain for a sec.
Sure.
Or should
What can I
we?
do for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so yeah, so I'm really worried about my price point. I'm looking at this property, blah 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 blah. I know, and you don't have to tell me any confidential information. Did you hear me just say that, like right up on front? You don't have to tell me any confidential information, but could I ask, did you get a lot of showings on the property?
We did.
Okay, awesome. So it must have been in great condition.
Yeah, what was the highlights? maybe?
Yeah, and then, okay, then, I'm wondering, if you could share with me whether or not you got any multiple offers.
We got a few.
Okay.
Um,
They came in, and then when I hear her say, what do I do?
Did they pay any closing costs?
Yeah, no, I back off a little bit, okay? You got a few offers. Can I ask you, I see that you're in contract with Mary Cox, and I might go like this. Because now what am I doing?
You're opening it up to.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, how's that going?
It's going good. We did get an offer and it did get accepted.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, maybe I can ask a couple specific questions and you can tell me what you want to. I don't want to know how much, I just want to know what did the offer include closing costs?
It did.
Okay, excellent. And would you be willing just to tell me, I know it's going to close and I'll find out later, but would you be willing to tell me what kind of financing it went? I'm worried about whether or not mine will finance FHA.
It will.
Okay, so do you see that? So I'm asking her questions and if I hear her kind of saying, it's that tone of voice, right? It's the,
She didn't commit, you just asked, I'm
Nice.
wondering if mine would.
I like that.
You like,
That looks, I don't like the font, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, there's
you don't
also,
like that one?
I do not like the font.
that's what I said. Except on his name, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't care for that font at all.
Don't hard to read.
That's just me. That's Teresa Blanc, I don't care for it, but everybody else,
What about the-
I like the picture a lot. I think
I
that was
wanna
very
see.
good.
And you did a fuller body shot, which actually looks good on
Yeah,
that card.
Yep.
I think
She looked extremely professional.
You like it?
Nice background.
You approve? If I figure, since only
you
one
say the same
person
thing?
have
I did.
opposed to it.
Oh, she said the same thing, she doesn't like the font either.
No, I don't like it.
Oh, you don't care for it either? Yeah.
The background
I like
is
everything else
good.
about it, but I don't like the font.
I think I'm gonna take one of my last names.
I wish I did that.
Do you
I wish I
really?
did that.
Yeah, different font, but
Yeah.
everything
Karen
else
saying
is
of
great.
vanilla
coloring.
But, yeah, I think I should have just gone with Karen Stein because Karen and Stein are the same.
My
Yeah.
brother tells me
Measurements
that
and-
I have a fake smile.
Instead of, I always call you Benaleu.
I got mine yesterday. I need to
That's really
tweak
good.
mine a little bit. I look squished.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like my font either.
Yeah, no, I don't care for that. I'm just, and I would.
I have the same font
Yeah.
in my card that she made for me,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I would literally just say, I will give you my truth, and I mean it with love and respect. I don't mean it in any nasty way. And you guys can take whatever you want. It's just, if you ask for an opinion, I'm gonna tell you what I think. And I will tell you that I'm good at this. I can tell you if I like something, I can tell you if I don't like something, and sometimes I can't tell you what I don't like about something. Well, why don't you like this? I don't know, I just don't like it. But I can tell you if I like something. I'm more that, I'm very concrete that way, visually very concrete. You know, I love that ad. What do you love about it? I don't know, I just love it. You know? I don't think about it. It touches my feels, okay? It touches my
I
feels.
just like.
I just
It's like
like
you
it.
walk into a house, I just don't like it.
I don't
Or I
like
walk
it.
into, open a car door and I don't even want to take a ride.
Yeah, but see, isn't that interesting? And you have that when when I go shopping, it's like, "Trish, don't you like this? I'm like, no, I don't.
Can't explain it, I just don't like it.
Just don't care for it. I don't want to buy it. Okay, but how do you do a CMA? You do a full search. You go to the area, right? So should we do one real quick?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, here's mine. So residential, I'm doing active, pending, and closed.
Okay.
Okay, I'm hitting next. Okay, I am delimiting the area. Why?
Appraisals are to do the same.
Appraisers are gonna do the same thing. I also do one other little thing, you guys. I start with as big as I can get. So there's 500 listings in West Diamond, right? So I actually go and this is old school. Old realtors do this. Some of you won't do this. I look at my grid, Southwest 2125. Why do I look at my grid?
Because it will tell you what area it's at.
Grid is like a little square box that your house fits in. So it is the most likely, I mean, if you look at grids, and grid maps used to be a really big deal. So it is not, you're not in the center of the grid, but your house is in that grid. And that is that typically it surrounds you with the houses that are as close to yours as possible. in your neighborhood.
Where's grid on that?
Okay, grid, I'll show you. So here's grid, so Southwest 2125, do you see it here?
Yeah, on MLS.
Okay, there it is on the tax. Then I'll go to flex, and I go to legal.
Oh.
Gonna come down here. You guys will see it before I look. Did I pass it? There it is, thank you, Southwest. Then I'm gonna do this, Southwest 2125, is that correct? Am I going too fast?
Yes.
Is it a square mile block? Are they in square miles or no?
It's not in a square mile, you guys, it's in a small area. So there's my Southwest 2125. Then I go up and I say, okay, I have 29 results. That's a lot of results,
That's better than 500.
right? So I went from 500 results down to 29. Now, let me see if I can work with this. Okay, so now I'm going to view results.
You're signing for.
Okay, so Terry Street is closed. That's an 880 square foot property that sold for $200,000. Marcy Street is pending at 230. Oh, what just happened? I'm sorry, I don't know how I just did that. Ooh, and it has a one-car garage. But look at it, 230,000. It has 957 square feet. A house sold on Terry for 800 square feet for 216. 900 square feet, 239. Cuddy Sark is not one of mine. I got it closed.
That's a condominium, isn't it?
Nope, it's not. 250 in 2014, that is not a comp. Why?
Well,
Crawford, 255, 287, now I'm getting better, 219 Terry Street. Okay, now I'm super interested.
Now you're in the two garages there.
No, this one, look at this.
Zero,
Okay,
No
here,
garage.
no garage for 319. Now, all of a sudden, this is just down the street from me. Okay.
No garage.
Okay, so this is 1,400 square feet. The only thing that's different about this one is my lot is smaller than this. Okay, so Barb Huntley, Dan Wolf, listed for $319,900, sold for $319,900 with $5,000 in closing costs. It's 1,400 square feet. Obviously, I immediately want to go to where?
the photo.
The photos.
Yeah, this
So
one was really pretty.
did you get into it?
Oh my gosh, like the outside, I wrote this down because I wanted to show you guys this one actually, because the outside, it looks like it will not even look like what the inside looks like. I haven't seen it in person because it
Is
might
that a
not
ranch?
look like that in person, but by the pictures, it's gorgeous.
Oh, and here's something else that's really interesting, and I will tell you this. One of my big factors when I did my remodel is everything in the world right now is gray and black, gray and black, gray and black, gray and black. I absolutely resisted going with what everybody's putting in their house right now because, believe it or not, that absolutely dates a property. It's kind of and I personally don't want to live in a cool house. I want to live in I want it to be warm, so I choose warm colors. But
Earthy tones.
what's that?
You choose earthy tones.
Earth, probably. I personally don't care for grays. Just personally, I just think
Your living room color was awesome, I thought.
Oh, thank you.
It kind of grabs a little light, but it was subtle.
But so this house, believe it or not, proves, so at $319,900 with $5,000 in closing costs,
How many days on the market?
let's check.
But that's a ranch.
This is a ranch.
Or
Is it your Murphy's one?
Nope, this is Barb Huntley.
4 days.
4 days on the market
In November.
That's
in November.
That was a flip.
No, these people lived there. I know the family. It's one of my good friend's house.
wow, it's beautiful.
Ranch, no garage.
Ranch no garage. Huh?
Cracker Barn.
Cracker box.
Is it
Beautiful
possible,
inside.
Beautiful inside.
is it possible that Barb Huntley, because she's like,
No.
producer? What, no, she's not?
No, tell me what you were gonna say, but
Well, what
like, can she pull value? Is that what you're
No,
trying
no,
to say?
what I have seen is that some of these big dogs, I call them big dogs, have got so many people that they know what they want, what they're looking for, and when I see that quick. I'm
No,
hoping they have them in their back pocket.
No, because Dan Wolf had the buyer.
Oh.
She didn't have
She
the
just
buyer.
listed it.
She listed
That's
it,
right.
Dan Wolf had the buyer. No, if she'd have double-ended it, you might be
They might
right,
maybe think that, okay.
okay? 315 on Crawford. This is active, this is this is at competition, 2,200 square feet, 9,100 square foot. Been on the market for 41 days. One of the reasons, and they have some really interesting backsplash. So now I've got to look at this property and see, this is your competition right now, Teresa. This house is bigger than yours.
Is that the one with the garage?
I don't know, but I'm not too worried about this.
I think that's the one I was looking at.
Was this the one you were looking at, 315?
So I think, Teresa, your house is, I think, if I were to walk in there and I was gonna list that house for you, I would feel that you have a very strong position because the floor plan is so unlike, I mean, it is not split level.
Right.
It is,
And although it is a California side split, I mean, that is a true California side split, but you're correct. It's not the split level that we're used to,
yeah,
the Alaska split.
but it just has the downstairs a great flow of the floor plan. And like the main thing is like you can actually throw a party in that house and you don't have everybody sitting on top of each other. You actually have three.
Right.
You have four, just on that one level, you have four locations that people can sort of mingle, like kitchen, like dining section, like the middle section, and then like the corners of it. You could actually have,
The backyard too.
and then the backyard.
Like
You could have 25 people in your downstairs and you wouldn't be.
Yeah, probably the largest party I had in there that was comfortable was, I think we had like 45, maybe 50 people in there, and we had people coming and going.
Yeah.
And then it was comfortable, but beyond that, it was like people were standing up on the stairs, and it was.
You could have two families in there and people would disperse and
totally
get
fine,
lost.
yeah.
You wouldn't feel like you were on top of anybody.
This house is interesting. It has no exterior photo, so the exterior must be particularly heinous.
That thing looked like it was a converted.
And then looks at the detail. It says it is a one-car garage again, so 315 one-car garage. It does have 2204, so it's significantly, it's like 400 square feet bigger.
But it doesn't say 1960.
Yeah.
1960, yeah. And you can see some of the 60s things. Did you get that? The other thing I would tell you is if you're gonna take a distressed, kind of a craptacular listing, why do you wanna make sure you have a 3% selling side?
Because then people are not gonna show their buyers that.
Yeah, not only do I have to sell
I've
your
skipped a lot
crappy
of
listing,
2.5.
but you're also giving me a discounted commission. FYI, if you're gonna take a discounted commission, boys and girls, first of all, you have to have permission of your broker, first of all. Land the plane, unless you have capped, you have to have permission of your broker. And secondly, if you're gonna take a discounted commission, you take the discount because you couldn't negotiate your fee. That's your fault, not the selling licensee's fault. Selling licensees are out there making it, hustling up, trying to get an offer on your property. Okay, make it easier on them when their buyer. I mean, if I have a choice between 3 listings, 2 of them are 3% commissions. What did I just say? If I have a choice between how many listings, I just lost myself in my own mouth. That's right, I'm crazy. Did you get that? So if you have 5 listings, 3 of them have 3% commissions and 2 of them have 2.5% commissions. FYI, I'm stacking the listings to show you. I'm a business person. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm a business person. I would rather sell, did you hear me say I would rather sell? I'm not saying I won't show. I would say I would rather sell a listing that had a 3% selling side commission than I would have a 2.5. I'm being honest with you. Okay? I'm being honest with you. I also don't want to go out of business, peeps. I don't want to go the way of a travel agent. Did you get that?
What if your client notices this on MLS? Say, why don't you take me to this one? And it only
Well, no, I'm taking them to all the listings. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you as a business person, I'm looking at my compensation. I bet you people look at your compensation too. And I'm saying if you're gonna take a listing and you decide that it's a discounted commission, because who decides? You have to negotiate that out with your seller, is that correct? But if you're gonna take the discount, you eat it, Mr. Listing Person, not me. Because I don't have the opportunity to negotiate my commission. Okay?
Is it the norm out there now, 2.5? I'm just throwing that in.
I'm seeing a lot of people and we are under huge attack, FYI, every single day. And there's people that will bite the business. Also, you guys, if I'm doing a list sale, it's really easy. Okay, so here's a house on Caravel Drive. Why is this one particularly important for me to take a look at?
It's on Caravel Drive.
Because it's on the same street, right? 320 Let's see. And obviously, it sold in 37 days. It was original list price, $344,900. Finally sold it for $314,000, and they paid $8,337 in closing costs. But let's look at it. Okay, so that's an interesting looking house, guys, right now. The other thing I can tell you, it is directly on Raspberry Road. It is the corner of, it has a couple, probably the size was nice. The old, okay, so that's blue toilets, what does that tell you? And I think it has a maybe a 2-car, is it a 2-car? 2-car, okay.
Looks big though.
I will love
it.
You love it. This one is 1969, 320,
How big is the lot?
8,636 square feet. But I would tell you, and it originally, they priced it for size, but they got bit on condition.
Yeah, the dated.
They got it bid on date. Yeah, and because it's the house on the corner of, and it's also, can I tell you, as you drive by, if you did happen to drive by Kincaid Elementary, there are probably 15 houses that are built probably in the early 2000s, but they are like massive. And they're very traditional out on the exteriors. So if you have, like this house that was built in 1970, next to a beautiful home that was built in 2000, just the architecture or the style alone is going to pull down your value, okay, because you don't match.
Would it matter a house on a corner like that if they put up one of these aesthetically pleasing cedar fences or anything?
I think the only trouble with that would be that the price to put up the fence may not increase the value enough. And again, some sellers won't do it. Some sellers won't do it. Okay, so this one on Tall Spruce, again, still in my neighborhood, in my barrio, 268. It sold for $358 with $9,000 in closing costs. Okay, so people who really try and push value, what do you see? But it's 72, 2,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, and then Tall Spruce again, another 2. This one sold for $345. It was on the market for 249 days, and they paid $5,000 in closing costs. So what does that tell you?
It's too high. It was priced too high.
Well, let's look too. Red houses have a hard time selling. Anybody know why?
Danger.
Something like that, yeah. Murder. That's
Why?
So standing red
The
flag.
photography is kind of.
Yeah, that's another thing. This might be a really, really nice property, but people have to really like the color red to buy that house. Yeah, and painting the exterior of a house, I can tell you, is about $6,000 to $7,000. So it's not cheap. This house actually probably should have, I honestly think this, personal opinion, this house is probably nicer than Tall Spruce. It sold for less. Obviously, the color outside was an issue. I do like the colored walkway. There was nice floors in this property. They did go ahead and do the white kitchen. Yeah. But I think that the house here suffered because of color. Can I just be 100% honest with you? I think color really.
They should call me. Get a picture.
Okay, Marcy Court 370. What am I telling myself right now? Too high. And then here's that house I was telling you about, the other house that sank in comparison. Do you see this property right here? This was it's that property on Carabel Drive, its neighbor. This one right here, the one that sold at $315. This is its neighbor. Remember I told you they're so much bigger, they're so much nicer. This one sold for was listed for $450, sold for $445 with no closing costs.
18 days on the market.
18 days on the market. Should we look at? And this is going to be 2,800 square feet, right?
Nice.
Okay, isn't that pretty? Cascade, Jill, Whitehall, too big at this one, 333, this is too big. I'm just looking at it on the exterior saying, nope, too big. Because, well, it's only 2088, what the hell? I think that's wrong, that has to be bigger, just from the outside. 333 with 5,500. So what are you noticing about this neighborhood? What are you noticing about the pole?
Unfinished basement, that could explain the size.
Oh, no, I'm looking at just the house.
Well,
Look,
there's a max.
Look.
There's that big broad spectrum.
no, I'm looking at the, something, versatile family home, 4 bedrooms. Large family room in the basement level. Property is vacant.
Let's go look at it.
No, it's sold, mister. I'm looking right here. Oh, whoops. No, slipping down lots. Okay, so here are FYI. So when you guys talk about painting cabinets, this is about the vintage of my cabinets in my house. This is what they look like painted.
Oh, nice.
Do you think? I'm sitting there going, I'm just sitting there going,
I don't like white kitchens.
I don't like white
too much.
kitchens either, but I'm just looking at it and I'm just going,
It's white and it's kind of, it's white and it's finished.
It needs
so
more
yeah.
stainless steel in there.
right? I don't know, I'm just like,
I don't like white.
I feel like this house is bigger than it's, and I don't know it, but just from the outside, it looks bigger. Yeah, that's kind of funky, that's a functilish, that's 370 closed. New listing on Whitehall, too big. But do you see the spread? Okay. And then if you were to go down like on Terry Street, these are like functilish properties. Okay, so you might have to kick them out. The other thing, I have to kick out some listings because they're too old, like 2014, cannot use it.
We should pick out the ranches just automatically.
I could kick out the ranches if I mean, that would be something that I could do, although I've got too many that are too high priced. So what else could I, and they're actually, I've got that one branch that actually makes my price look amazing.
But would the appraiser kick it out?
Maybe not. But I've got some houses that are right on the same street. Obviously, is this a comp, people?
No.
Okay, why not?
Too nice to do.
Okay. Now, this is just in my grid. This is just in the grid, and these are the properties that are the closest to your property. So does that make sense to you? Okay. So that's typically how I start. And then you can watch this. You can hit the button up here. It says CMA, use all results. Did you see that?
Not if you could kick them out, then you can.
Oh, and then I'll show you how I can kick them out quick. So watch. Just gonna go next step.
You might be a little quicker.
Yeah, did you not know that you could do that?
Yeah, I always go onto the site and just start from the beginning. I don't ever go full
Me too.
search and then act. I just always start from CMA.
Yeah.
That you too.
No, I always start
No, I
with
always
the
do
search.
start with the full search and then hit the CMA button.
Yeah, that's the answer.
It is.
I always
And then
start
you
with
can,
the
and then
one
you can go
that's
through and you
that
can
I'm-
select or deselect properties to throw up.
You know, because if you search it.
Then I can go to the comps page and guess what I can do? I can X out comps.
See, now they're asking.
Oh, that's right.
I can kick them out and I can keep doing it until,
And then when you hit
yeah,
next,
I can keep kicking it down.
How many do you like to have in your ultimate CMA?
Yeah, I have no magic number. Too many comps is overwhelming. Too few isn't enough information. So, I mean, there has to be enough sold to give me a range. And I do like to see what's active and I do like to see what my competition is. Okay, because FYI, competition is also active listings on the CMA are good for you guys because they make your seller look at what condition other properties are in. So when I go, so for example, if I go back, yes, I'm on this page. Yes, I'm on this page. Let me go back in, yes, and then.
Teresa, what's the difference between a quick CMA and a full CMA?
A quick CMA will just do the statistical, and it just cuts down on the amount of documents that they put in. Okay? Because some people, some people are very detail oriented, and they want all the detail, they want to look at all the different stuff. Other people just want you to land a frickin' plane and tell them how much their property's worth. Okay, that's complete, and who decides how to do that? You do, right? And then one of the things I would ask somebody, how much detail do you want? I mean, do you want to, okay. What happens if somebody will not change, if you really know that they're completely out of their ever-living minds on price?
Negotiate with them.
Listen anyway, but here's, but what else can you do? Go show them their competition. Say, you know what I want to do? I want to put you in the car, and I want you to see. So if I was becoming a lunatic, right? And I was saying, no, I want, because there's a house on Careful, I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Because there's a house on Careful, I'm trying. There's a house on Careful Drive that was listed for 4, whatever, and I just became an absolute lunatic and wouldn't listen to you. I would say, okay, let's go. Now this house is closed, you couldn't do it, but let's pretend for 1 second it was active. Let's go view it. Let's look at it. I've shown you the pictures. I'm showing you it on MLS. Your house doesn't look this nice. It doesn't have a double car garage. It doesn't have all these amenities. Look, it doesn't have these red walls.
So tell me why your house is better than
Yeah, so
yours.
tell me how. So you're going to stand in this house and you're going to tell me that somebody is going to pay exactly the same amount for 500 less square feet and it gets another car garage.
Sorry, but that's just not how things go.
Yeah, well, and I mean, that's just legit.
Right.
You know, if it's, my house is completely and totally different than this, right? So I'm not gonna get that value. And it's not me that's gonna tell me that, it's who's gonna ultimately talk to these people? The market talks to you, right? The market talks to you. So did I tell you how long Jim Murphy had that overpriced listing that he said probably got him like 10 buyers and multiple listings? He had it for over a year. It was a house in Lilac. Do you know that subdivision off of Huffman?